Well, hey everybody. This is so in my. It doesn't. It doesn't show me that I'm that close whenever until I was live, and so I'm like, whoa, I'm way too close. So, anyways, how you guys doing? Happy Sunday to you. Sorry, my eye is watering. Hey, just call me Kim and Beach Bum. So good to see you guys. Denise, Roxy Cole. Hey, Angela, what's up, girl? And Donna. So good to see you guys. Golden rule. We'll be listening and absent of chat. Well, good to have you here listening. We always need a listening ear. Um, Anyways, hey guys. I've just, yeah. Okay. So I'd never meant to get hung up in the rabbit hole of anybody else, period. But sometimes you don't pick the subject or I guess the crime, but it picks you. And so I hated like the look, and I'm not trying to sound insensitive. Y'all, I just don't know how else to kind of say it or express it. But hey, hopeful, hey, Desert Rain, welcome in, welcome in. But Charlie Kirk, right? And I'm like, oh no. Although Charlie Kirk, I remember Chris, no more remote viewing. He had let me know that I want to say it was him back in 2023. Tim Ballard had attended a TPUSA event, and I didn't know what the hell none of that was. I still don't really know what it is. I just remember him telling me that. I remember going and looking it up. I remember grabbing some screenshots, whatever. Same old, same old. Yeah, I've got screenshots. I may not know it, but I've got screenshots of it. Trust me. And so I don't know. I knew the name, I knew the face, I knew TPUSA. That was it, basically. And that anybody who supports Tim Ballard ain't no friend of mine. Okay. That's where I'm at. I mean, that's if you want to know where I've leaned with my gut, with my discernment, with all the stuff that I've learned about all these people. And I mean, I'm of the opinion that birds of a feather flock together, and it's never let me down. Okay. And I mean, I know you aren't what your friends do and vice versa, but in this arena, it's a good probability that you're likely, one of the boys, you're in the club, you're in the group. And these kind of people, these inverted people, and I'm talking about the people I have been researching since 2019, which, is everybody in and around Lori and Chad. They're inverted. I'll just say that. It's the nicest thing I can say. Inverted of good. Okay. So that's where I'm at. And they tend to network one another. And so again, birds of a feather flock together. When it lets me down, if it ever lets me down, I will let you know. But I've really observed people and I watch and I mean, I study these people. I mean, it might make me psycho. Whatever it is, I don't care. It's like, I just, I don't know. And I felt really indifferent whenever Charlie was shot at, or when he was, yeah, yeah, I'll just say that. And I remember my mom, again, this is just one of those things, I guess, where I'm looking for it real quick. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, wrong chat. Wrong chat, mom. Uh, we have different chats, so it's not like just find it. Oh, let me type it in. Damn. Mom? Mama? This one. Nope. Jason and mom. Okay. Anyways, and I mean, this was back whenever mom was bitching about, and I was bitching about it too, about Chad and his letters, right? And so we were chit chatting, and then about that, and then mom. Wait, it was before that. Then hold on. I remember she asked me. She's been like at like fit like a not a fishing expedition. I don't know, just kind of poking to see, I guess, where I stand on things. And she knows what I research. I mean, that she's aware of, you know. I, I've overloaded her with names and things, and then she questions me, and then we derail because, you know, it's very derailing, especially for me. um, but she had asked me about before that. She had asked me about the East Idaho News, you know, the undercover thing with Nick Edwards, which he was a FBI agent who testified, you know, uh, in Lori and Chad's case in their trials. And I mean, I appreciate, again, it's like I have to be compartmentalized because just the, what do you say? How do I say that? The person that is closed off, like if I put my blinders on, then I can, it's like different jobs or something. It's like I can appreciate all the detectives, all the police work, all of that kind of stuff, the judge, all the judicial process, everybody who had a hand in bringing Chad and Lori to justice. Okay. So there's that part of me. And then there's the realist part of me who I love and respect them, but I know better. I know that people can be corrupt. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. I don't, and it's really, it sucks to be that way, you know, like, but it's like I can have mad respect for them, but I also know that nobody's perfect. And I'm not about to put anybody on a pedestal. Okay. Appreciate you for doing your job. Thank you. It's traumatizing. I can't believe that they had to see what they saw. It really sucks, you know. On the other hand, I also know that there's Freemasonry, you know, there's different associations, there are people who corrupt. Okay. There are people who practice their religious beliefs a certain way, maybe are inverted themselves, maybe, you know what I'm saying? So I always try to keep a balance. And I mean, it's pretty easy. I guess maybe I've gotten used to it. I don't know, but having to kind of compartmentalize because on one hand, I can respect and love them and appreciate them. On the other hand, I'm like, but okay, you know, you're not exalted. Basically, I'm not exalted. We're not exalted. I'm still going to hold you accountable. So I try not to have the rose-colored glasses on, but all that, you know, because mom had asked me about the and this was okay, so it must have been before that. All right, because this was September 10th. Then it goes to August 30th. What the hell? I'm looking for because she'd asked me about Jenna Miscavige, and I was like, oh yeah. But I mean, I have so much to say, and I mean, I want to tell her everything, and so then I take my time, and anyways, I'm like, yeah, that's Jenna Miscavige, however you spell it. I called her on Annie Elise's 10 to Life or Serialistly last night, I think. Plus, I'm already subscribed to Jenna's channel. And I'm like, did you know that Heber C. Jench, one of the LDS Church's prophets who served briefly, who was prophet briefly for the Mormon Church, was also the leader of the Scientology Church at one point? I know Desert Rain will check me on that. Another compelling connection between these two groups is Elder Ballard, the apostle who, in my view, played a role in the temple sealing of Lori and Chad. and served as a mentor and financial supporter of Operation Underground Railroad and the Covenant. Okay, and the Covenant. Mhm. And let's see. Oh, and he was all about the couple shrews, you know. Oh my gosh, what all the conditional rules. And so, okay, blah, 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 led by Tim Ballard. Notably, he also provided financial backing for the development of what Scientologists now call cans, basically, where like Elder Ballard had like the financial backing into the e-meter, what Scientologists would call an e-meter, which, anyways, I don't study that religion, so I stay here. But to know that Elder Ballard actually had his hands in something that would kind of, it's similar to muscle testing. So it's similar to energy healing. It's like, okay, hypocrite. Okay, but pick a side. Okay. But again, you study these people long enough and your side becomes very apparent. You know, you can see. Um, anyways, interestingly, it was originally created to test energy or muscle testing, something that the church strongly opposes now. Now, the e-meter is used by Scientologists to assess a member's truth and whether they possess body thetans. Thetans, it makes me feel like I have a lisp. Thank you, Desert Rain. You rock. I appreciate that. Okay. And I went back to, I'll send you the link to the timestamp where I can't ever say that slow, investigative journalist Lynn K. Packer shares about Elder M. Russell Ballard's e-meter design. And I'm talking about Russell Ballard right here. I'm like, he was such a fraudulent dude, like the rest of that community sitting atop the ivory tower in Salt Lake City, Utah. They're such frauds, in my opinion. Okay. Anyway, so, and then I have it minute marked on the link, but in case it doesn't work, go to 125:32-ish. One could even say it measures whether one has light or darkness. I mean, really, you could with this e-meter thing. Whatever. Oh, okay, yeah. I was saying about the e-meter that the Scientologists use is the same machine that Elder Ballard invested in to gauge one's spiritual impediments. Right? Light or dark, I would say. Okay, body thetan or not? I don't have a lisp. Body thetan. That's crazy to say that. Subway. Anyways, but mom had asked me about the ICAC unit, Idaho's ICAC unit, and where East Idaho News went for a ride along kind of thing. And I was just like, I'm just going to be honest. I was like, I think it's a fucking crock of shit. The same thing they did when OUR was fresh on the scene. She said, kind of what I thought. Okay. I'm like, politics, P files, and profits. More like it. They're in cahoots with each other at the end of the day, and it gets exhausting trying to find out what side of the truth people are on an individual basis. So I side with them all being untrustworthy. Just kidding. Digging into the bountiful Utah child SA ring scandal from decades ago is so telling. I'm learning even more about who Tom Harrison really is and just how interconnected with every single one of the recent Mormons Gone Bad group that have reared their heads in news headlines doing the most egregious things to their children. It's so telling, in my opinion. I'll let you know my takeaway from this once I get to the bottom of it. Okay, I'm reminding myself. I'm like, if you're interested, that is, Mormon doctrines and all that jazz is super boring, but when it comes to their crimes, holy shit, they truly show their mafia mentality. And it's safe to blanket them with the same like-minded attitude and behaviors because they all exhibit the same damn traits. At least the people I research, they do. It's like it's like a cookie cutter. Well, so then mom, she's picking up on code. I don't know why I'm reading y'all my mom and my text, but I was going to show she had asked me about Charlie Kirk. That's what I was looking for. And I hope I'll find it. Till then, mom had asked me, she was like, she put quotes, everlasting love. That equals cult code for donate money to Chad for commissary and phone because he's on death row. If I learn nothing more from you is like-minded people, you'll probably get his letters. I'm sorry. Like-minded people will probably get his letters. I'll be working on shutting him up ASAP. He doesn't deserve a platform. I'll die before he gets to continue doing this BS. The audacity of that no balls effort to even reach out publicly is beyond me. I love you. Good night. With a little heart thing. Okay. And then, yeah, so we talk about that for a little while, and then, okay. It was at the very bottom then. I thought it was longer. All right, my bad. And so on September 10th, no, September 15th, because I was really quiet about Charlie Kirk. I was just like, food for thought, mom said. Charlie Kirk deserves recognition. If you don't know him, please take 1 hour and watch what he did / was doing. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm already like weighing it out at that point. It had already been 5 days, I'm like, you always taught me that if I can't say anything nice, say nothing at all. I'm practicing what you taught me to do. Through my researches into Tim Ballard, I ran across The Turning Point, which was ran by Charlie Kirk and platformed Tim Ballard in 2023. I'm opting out of the conversation because it won't be too positive, and I have to choose my battles. But I'm also not all about bashing a victim of a heinous crime either, so just know that's where I stand on the subject, and that is where I stand on the subject. But does it hurt to question things, especially the way that they have played out? No. I question my own family's murders all the time. Like it's an open, fluid, always changing picture, like it's never just, okay, close the book. I haven't written a book because I can't. It's still playing out in my mind, in my world. And so it's like, I can't do that. I mean, I'm not trying to piss anybody off or, I don't know. It's just my way of doing things. And I'm still chasing this down. I'm still asking questions. I'm still finding answers to my questions because of these idiots and how they are just so obvious. So obvious, okay? It is so obvious. I'm just like, this should be illegal. Not just what they do, but me just, and I'm not, actually, I'm pretty proud. I am. I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit on that one because they fool a lot of people. They fool a lot of people, y'all. There are people still following Tim Ballard and calling him a damn hero. Of what? Go check out his YouTube channel. And he's smearing one of his alleged victims for sure. One for sure that I saw so far. I only could watch one video because he just pisses me off so bad. I have to do it in doses. So, I mean, he has never been held accountable like the rest of them. Okay. And so he's like doubling down. And I mean, it's not like it was proven in a court of law that he was innocent. So let's just get that straight. Tim Ballard, in my opinion, is nowhere. He is the inversion of innocence. Okay. He is the opposite of innocence, in my opinion. And I'm entitled to that, mother effer. Okay. You are too. Okay. So, I mean, and everybody who believes in him, they're entitled to that too. But whatever. I mean, if they're doing it just because it's like us versus them thing, whatever. If they're going to be that small minded, the trash takes itself out is how I look at it. I mean, people who are not closed-minded, people who, exercise and work with the cognitive dissonance, because it really sucks. I'll be the first one to tell you, and I know I'm not alone in this. It sucks to be on this side of everybody else. Everybody else is way over here. I mean, like, hey guys, and I'm way the hell over here by myself. And I'm just like, it's very lonely. And I doubt myself sometimes, because I'm just like, well, I mean, maybe I'm being too hard. I don't, what am I seeing that they're not seeing? How are they not seeing all this shit? And I mean, I'm like, is it just like different depths to people, like how we think? Um, I've always been philosophical, so to speak. My best friends when we were growing up, I was like, we were teenagers, and I remember laying outside, at night with them, and we were looking up at the stars, and I was just like, I wonder. I would just kind of go into my little dialogue, and they'd be like, there was this skit on Saturday Night Live, and it was Deep Thoughts by Jack Handler or something. I don't know if I'm even remembering that right, but they'd say Deep Thoughts by Kresha Trahan, and because anyways, I was always like that. And so I don't know if, I don't know what makes, and I mean, a conspiratorial mind equals critical thinking. So I don't know. I just, I see through that shit, especially these people. And then it just continues. It like continues to just amount to a pile of doo doo, and then you're like, what are we going to do with all this shit? Okay. There's all this shit and it's everywhere. And like, what are you going to do with it? Anyways, I know that's a disgusting analogy, but do you know what I'm saying? Jack Handy. Thank you. But that's pretty good for like 800 years, right? I'm just saying. So, all that, okay, that's the longest freaking intro ever. Screenshots are damn receipts. You damn straight. I hope so, because that's all I got. It's the only currency I have. Anyways, so okay. So and then we blah, blah, blah. I just stuttered bad. I sounded like a wah ha ha, wee ha ha, I just got stuck on wee. We may disagree, and that's okay. Okay? Verbal resolution, or agree to disagree, or what makes, ask that person what, talk me into it. I'm open, like, change my mind, please. I'm probably not seeing it from all the perspectives. We all don't have the same experiences. So, of course, nothing's going to be perfectly aligned, nor do I want to be, really. I just, it doesn't matter. It gets lonely. And so that does matter, because being lonely sucks, especially in your head, But I know I'm not alone, so to speak, but you know what I'm saying. We tend to be kind of loners. I don't know. He's an a-hole, man. And yeah, they are, I mean, y'all know how I feel. I, it would, okay, how do I say this? Oh, why do I always have to pick some really jacked up ways of expressing myself? Okay. It's well, I don't know. Some people may feel this way, some people may not. Look, I'm a ride or die for Joe, right? I am. I want the truth for Joe Ryan all day, every day. I also care about Colby. And because there's, you know, uh, Colby claims that he was, um, harmed or whatever by his stepdad, Joe. And Joe is not here to corroborate or to speak up for himself, to defend himself. I've read all the documents. I know what they say. I know what the what the professionals say. But again, they're not here and I'm not the judge, so I don't have to choose. However, sometimes people will really push a narrative. Okay. I'm not trying to be ugly. I would call myself out if, but it would behoove a person to push a narrative and discredit another person in order to be liked or to be, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I obviously suck at this, but it's kind of the same thing I think about Emma and Chad. Emma, she believes, I guess, I'm assuming, I am alleging that she feels her dad is innocent, or she's already come to terms with it because they're in that atmosphere, that culture of forgive and forget. Okay, forgive and forget, forgive. And a lot of people, how do I say, oh, this is really tricky, man. Kind of like what we're seeing with the, and I don't know. Y'all, I'm doubting myself. Damn. um, like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. Okay, I'm not being nefarious or an asshole, but it just kind of seems sometimes like the way the Mormons or the people in the community where the church, the shooting and everything in Missouri. Is it Missouri? Yeah, where they're raising money for the Perps family. Like a lot of these people tend to side with the Perps. Okay, it's really what I'm trying to get at it. I don't hate you. I don't. I I don't. And I hope y'all don't hate me. It's like I respect everybody's. I do. I'm not here. Like, I can't judge. Like, I can't say, Colby, you didn't experience what you experienced. And I can't say, Joe, you did it or you didn't. It's not my place, first off. Second, Joe's not here. Third, it's not my place to tell Colby what he did and did not experience. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at. Same thing for Emma. I don't get to tell her what to do. I mean, they can believe whatever they want to believe. I don't think it's healthy, but whatever. I also, the things that Emma has done and the raccoons that she posted to her Facebook profile cover photo, the two raccoons in a canoe, those kind of things, where they talk in code, the secret society, the whole Satanist, the whole inverted thing. I mean, I think it's daddy's little girl. I do. I do. I mean, and the way that they have treated and just disrespected their mother. And not only, I mean, I wasn't there, you know, I never knew Tammy in life, but I mean, just, it was so horrible to hear Emma and Joe and Garth and all. It really sucked to watch and witness that, them degrade her and dehumanize her and shame her in her death too. Like, that is so gross. That is so heart-wrenching. I know Tammy's not here to experience that. Let's hope that is there a heaven where she can peek in? Because would she be crying? I would think so. But then I also am like, well, if she were like, whatever. I just feel like maybe she'd want me to respect them, like, as if they're her children. I know. I told you I'm a deep thinker. Okay. So I go all into it. Please don't talk about Colby unless I have permission. From who? Is there a permission, please? He's my cousin. Can I help you? Yeah. My parents never killed people either. At least not yet. I mean, I'd really like an answer on that, Debbie. No, I didn't say any. Nobody said anything bad. Okay, first off, and I don't need permission. Period. I'm sorry. We can agree to disagree. Nothing bad was said. Anyways, let me try not to get too bent off into that. He's very loved here. I don't understand. Anyways, I don't know if you caught the whole conversation. Yep. You still, I haven't seen you mod though, and I didn't know if maybe I just have missed you. You're not going to hear anything bad. Anyways, what I was trying to get to is that Annie seemed to really have a thing to prove that Joe was innocent because it kind of, from my position, it looks like if Joe is innocent in her mind, in her, in everybody, in the public's eyes, which I mean, again, I'm indifferent. Okay. We cannot prove it. Like I'm going to believe Colby because he's claiming it. I'm cannot ask Joe because he's not here, nor am I a judge. So boom, like I'm out of it. Like I have no dog in the hunt, but some people do have dogs in the hunt, and it sometimes would make maybe them feel better. I really don't know. I don't know. Anyways, let me just leave. I'm just gonna go. Anyways, what I really want to talk about tonight is a whole bunch of other crazy shit. So, okay, let me figure out. All right, what I did was I pulled some clips. Oh, let me close that window. And let's see. All right. So I have it loaded up in my Opus app right now, and it breaks them up for me. Okay, so if y'all don't mind, it's just going to kind of look like this. We just really need to hear it instead of you know what I'm saying. It's the message. It's the message, and it starts out about George Zen. Who's George Zen? George Zen is a very curious guy, y'all. He's a very curious man, and we're gonna learn about him. Okay, so let's start doing that. Hey, Marshall Dove. uh, no, don't be sorry for saying anything. I don't know what the permission thing was about. That's why I'm like, do I need permission to talk about? He's my cousin. I love him. I love Kel. We're not opposing. That'd be the other one, not me. You know. And yeah, I'm a hush. No, you're fine. Not trying to be, yeah, it sucks. Text often gets taken out of context, and I probably did that too. So I apologize on my part. But it just was like permission, you know, like I want to talk about everything, everything's on the table. That's kind of how I run things here. That's why, when people say, I'm going back to like the researching part. Um, when people are like, "Oh no, that's a conspiracy theory," and I'm just like, "So you're just gonna wall all these possibilities? You're gonna wall all these other things that there's half truths? There's truth to that." So I think it's very short sighted to just wall things off and label it as a conspiracy theory. Like that blows my mind. I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? But yeah. Thank you for saying that. I agree with you. It's all a part of how narcissists, okay, narcissists mold their narrative. Their MO is to control the story. They triangulate and make up so many lies and destroy relationships as well as we all keep learning big time. Y'all are welcome to slap the shit out of me if I ever act crazy like that. when we talk about personal things concerning others, it's nice to make sure it's all right in order not to hurt them, as that is their story to tell, not ours. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm definitely not telling. I was just, because some people are different. Some people feel different. And this is just my stance with that. I've also had essay done, whenever I was a kid, two different people. And I was just like 4 and 5. And I can't imagine, like, and I mean, I understand also. And I mean, I've really researched into the ritualistic abuse and all this really dark stuff. And it's dark and nobody else, not, I don't want to say nobody else, because there are some people who do go into it way better than me. I get all tripped up on everything, but because it's hard to talk about. But I can't imagine these victims who are going through it and they are brave enough to come forward with it, and then they get trashed by society, the culture, the church, the school, everybody, social media, okay? And then they're not believed. They don't ever get to go to court. They don't ever get to be proven right. And if they are, if they sign like these other big cases, if they sign an NDA, so be it, but then the truth stays silent. And it sucks. It really sucks the way the system is, especially in this arena. Okay. That's my opinion. There's a lot of silence, secrecy, shame, and it's gross. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. I get it. Yeah. And I mean, I hope I didn't go too far into it to where he would think that, because I've shared that before. So, okay. I need checking too. No Wendy news. I figured I'm sure. I figured there would be some on tonight. But hey, John, how you doing, John? Good to have you here, too. All right, so this is Dee got a podcast. Okay, and anyways, I'm just gonna play it. We're gonna learn about George Zinn in the Charlie Kirk case. I'll call it the case. He was the guy who was like, shoot, I shot him, shoot me, kill me, or whatever. Just, he's that weird dude with Mormon connections.
I am ready to blow you all's mind, or at least it blew my mind because it was odd.
Hold on. My speaker went off.
I don't know if you all know this, but this guy is also was also charged for terroristic threats in the Utah bombing.
Okay. Talk, dude.
All right.
Oh, I just turned it off.
It says here, Utah man arrested for making bomb threat to Marathon. George Zinn's idea of a joke has resulted in his arrest on second-degree felony charges of making terroristic threats. As Salt Lake City's ABC affiliate reports, police say that Zinn emailed to race organizers a request to leave bombs at the finish of the Salt Lake City Marathon, which was run on April 20th. A neighbor told the TV station that the day before his arrest, Zinn described the emails as a joke. Zinn is reportedly well known to the police for pranks and similar antics, and was removed from a hotel last summer's Republican National Convention in Tampa Bay, Florida, for trespassing. So here's another major incident this person was involved in. He seems to be at the headline of so many different major events.
I just got my sound back. Okay.
Well, I'm going to give you all something that you probably have not heard about.
Bring it on, Dee.
I am ready to blow you all's mind, or at least it blew my mind because it was odd. Did you all know that this guy right here, who was interviewed about 9/11, this guy right here, who's a part of the Charlie Kirk debacle, remember, he jumped up and said, I did it, shoot me now. Why would you jump up and say, I did it, shoot me now? And then when they arrest you, you say, I was trying to help the shooter or the real shooter get away.
What's that tell you?
Don't tell me this is just a crazy. This is orchestrated. This is high level orchestration. Absolutely. I don't know too many not so bright people that is doing these things in different states throughout the country.
Yep.
What's going on here? I am ready to blow you all's mind, or at least it blew my mind because it was odd.
Did it just repeat? Because I mean,
I don't know if you all know this, but this guy is.
Yeah. Okay, it's repeating. Because I didn't hear it because my speaker was not working. I was trying to get it going. Right. I'm so sorry about the echo that me and Joe had the other night. It was my fault. Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I could just read the things, and I was trying to do other things. Didi got a podcast. His link is right here. I'm about to send it in the chat. And I agree with you, Huggy Bear. Like I remember when the other night, I don't even know, one of the live streams after this incident, and you said George Zinn, and I was like, who? I didn't know who the hell you were talking about. And now I think about you all the time because I'm like, oh yeah, George Zinn, right? George, what do they call him? It's a weird word. Anyways. Yeah, y'all go sub to Didi Got a Podcast channel. I mean, I just like, he researches like I do. Like, he researches everywhere. He brings information from everywhere, just like I do. Like, I don't care if it's opposition or considered opposition. Like, that's where you go, right? And I don't watch Candace. I don't, again, birds of a feather flock together. And so I just have never been drawn to her because of, like, she hosted Tim Ballard a long time ago when she was on with PragerU. Okay. So there's that part. So I steered clear of her a long time ago. And I'm kind of glad I did because I can see that being just as deceptive too. So there's these people like Joe Rogan, and, they're paid to be a big influencer. And so what is influence? It's influencing you and me and everybody in between to think a certain way, to feel a certain way. Yeah. Louisa, right? I don't know. I don't worship anybody. So there's a lot of people who do. And I'm telling you, we'll find out probably in this chat here, and I mean, do you, boo? Like, it's not like I'm not asking for allegiance, and I would hope and pray that other people who have channels aren't doing the same, I mean, are doing the same. I hope they would not have people choose and pick a side. You can either have allegiance with me or them, or, go find your information everywhere. And then you filter through it. You take what you need, you leave the rest, and you move on. And sometimes we mess up. Sometimes we make bad judgment calls, and that's okay. Just, we have to sharpen it up is all I'm saying, because a lot of these people are paid and they're really good actors. Tim Ballard says, this is all acting. This is acting. This is what they're doing. This is a world stage, and we are puppet masters. And I mean, I'm telling you, look, it's making me rethink. And this is for the more, I guess, critical thinkers who are here, it's making me wonder if, and I mean, I don't know if people did this or not. I haven't ran across anybody who's gathering up all the signs and symbols like I'm doing now that I know about them. I was not aware of them before, but there are so many. I mean, Julie Rowe and Tim Ballard are a wealth of symbolism. Okay. But then in their words, in their writings, in these, I call them dog whistles or code phrases. That's what this is. When Lori told my uncle, okay, that she was a god. She was leading the 144,000 to, quote, this is a dog whistle, usher in the second coming of Christ. That does not mean what I took it as. It probably doesn't mean what you took it as. You probably were like, Jesus coming back, really, girl? You know, like the second Armageddon, boom, psh, you know, the world's ending. Oh my God. No. What is being said though, and I knew this whenever I learned about Sherston Stockwell, who used to work for Tim Ballard, OUR, Operation Underground Railroad, and she was taken to Thanksgiving Point, in which she says her full work capacity, like she was at work basically. She was asked to go to Thanksgiving Point, Utah, with Ken Krogh, with Hugh Vell, Tom Harrison, Visions of Glory guy, also UVU. Okay, we're gonna get there, and then Tim. And they went to Thanksgiving Point, and because she had shared, this is according to Sherston Stockwell, she said that because she had shared some spiritual things with Tim, she was thinking maybe that's why they asked her to go. And so she went there, and they claimed, she alleges to federal agents, that Tim and Tom and Ken and Hugh claimed that they had special intelligence. That's a very particular word when you really hang on, like when you really dissect what's being said. Intelligence, as in central intelligence. Okay. Agency or FBI. I don't know. NSA. There's all kinds. Okay. But yeah, it is. So when Tim said, allegedly told Sherston Stockwell that he had special intelligence of the second coming of Christ, I was like, well, damn, it's a dog whistle. So Lori, in my opinion, told my uncle to his face before she murdered him that she was going to usher in, kind of like when Chad and Lori used the word orchestrate. We're going to orchestrate. We're going to, it's all like mind control. Okay, y'all. I know it's crazy. So does Julie Rowe, y'all. Yeah, she does double sixes. And I got her doing the covering the eye. And she had like a, I don't know, what do you call it? It was a day that she showed up to Chad's trial in Idaho, and she had that hat on backwards. And so it had like I forget what team that is, but it's basically the V. Okay. Because I can't recall which team it is, but I do have screenshots or whatever of her pointing to it, and she was like, F you, Chad, basically. What plane? Oh, really? That's the one that's like 12 minutes away from UVU. Thanksgiving Point freaks me out, and I say it freaks me out. I have had somebody freak out in my comments because I said that Thanksgiving Point freaks me out, but this is why it freaks me out. Nothing to do with the beautiful state of Utah, okay? It has to do with these people and what they do. They have bastardized everything, okay? When they touch a song, okay, it becomes tainted. You're just like, yeah, well, okay. Nice knowing you. I mean, and they've touched it all, okay? And so when you have loved ones who were murdered, especially children, and they're out gallivanting, I'm talking about the Red Rummers, when they're out gallivanting with their lover, okay, and their lover's coven, I don't know, they're loving the coven, huh? And so they're gallivanting to Yellowstone National Park on Tylee's last day alive. They're gallivanting to Bear World, okay, a couple days before JJ was murked. Okay, then after that, at Tammy, they shot at Brandon, they murked Tammy. They run off to Knott's Berry Farm. Okay, a lot of programming sites, by the way, but anyways, that's so all those equate to me what Thanksgiving Point is. because I went and looked it up one time and I was like, oh no, this is not good, because it was very circus-ish. It's an amusement park, and I'm just like, there's some nefarious shit going on, in my opinion. If I'm being really, that's my tinfoil hat for the day. I don't know. I've never been, but I definitely don't want to go now. I've been to Disney World twice. Never want to go back in my life. Okay. Nope. Hard pass. Again, it's like your life, uh, your, what do you call it? Your worldview is shattered. It is shattered. But I'd rather have a shattered worldview than to have even a half of a delusional sense of reality. It's not even reality. It's just a delusion. It's nothing different than what Lori is living in. Lori is living in her own delusion. Okay. Because it's safe for her to stay in that delusion. Same for a lot of us. It's safe for us to live in that delusion, because in order to, reckon with a lot of these crazy things that are happening, and all the things that happen in our lives, it's safer to stay in our comfort zone than to open our eyes, face the shit, and then know what you're dealing with. Study them, assholes or effers, and learn how to combat it. Like, that's me. I didn't know I was taking this stance, but this is the stance I took. So, anyways, thank you. Yeah, everybody please hit the like button, and yeah, let's do the damn thing. All right, thanks. Hyper religiosity. Yeah, she has to double down and look like a fraud and a murderess just to think she's a good person, and that she didn't. No one was murked here, right? No. Yeah, okay. Okie doke, lady. That's why she's in prison. Oh yeah. I think so too. It's like a pinball machine. That's what I picture. Anyways, that's what I picture Thanksgiving Point to kind of be like a pinball machine. Oh my god. And my ADHD is pinballing right now, right? Okay. I'm gonna go to the next clip. All right. Dee Dee got a podcast.
Let me bring you all something that I haven't seen anybody else cover.
Cover it.
George Zinn gave an exclusive interview about 9/11. Take a listen to this.
Just on September 10th, 2001, and I'm a huge Broncos fan, so it was the opening night of Denver Broncos Stadium. I went down there, and we were playing the Giants that night, and so it was a huge event for us. I even remembered everything that happened. We opened the stadium on September 10th, 2001, and so I was we won the Giants, which was good. I remember that was when Ed McCaffrey actually got hurt that night on a season-ending injury. And so I'm ready to leave the hotel on September 11th, early that morning, and go back to Salt Lake City. And they said, come down, look in the lobby. Something's happening here. They said there's a plane that's headed towards one of the towers in New York City. And we're just glued. Everybody in the lobby is just like, wow, it's pilot error. What's going on here? It was very confusing. And we see that plane go in, and we just think, wow, and then I think it was 9/12 or something like that that second plane hit that tower. Immediately chaos in that hotel lobby. There was,
I bet
everybody was on cell phones. People had friends, family, everybody they knew in New York, and
just check out what this guy's saying.
That's got to be something. That's terrorist attack or something like that. We were quite sure.
Yeah, okay. I think the point has been. The first question I have is,
I love it.
Why is this person being interviewed? What makes this person so important that they're getting an exclusive official interview about 9/11?
That he wasn't even there.
It's almost like this person is being put here to spread propaganda. To help shape a narrative.
Correct.
About maybe what he believes or who he believes is behind 9/11.
Or working for.
Right? What makes this person so important that he gets an exclusive interview, especially considering the fact he wasn't even in New York?
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine? It would be like, I mean, picture it, it's like any of us being interviewed for something we didn't go to, like what is that? That doesn't make sense. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to add this damn banner. Why is it acting crazy? Hold on. Okay, let me try that again. Let me cancel that one. Okay, now there's Didi Got a Podcast. That's his link right there flashing across the screen. But it would be like, okay, I stayed, let's see, for Chad's trial, I stayed here. I went up there to Idaho for what, a weekend, basically, for the Tylee and JJ celebration of life in Rexburg. And then I chose not to go to the courthouse for one day of Chad's trial. Megan did go. I did not. I was like, yeah, no, he's about as entertaining as watching paint dry. You know what I'm saying? It's heavy in the courtroom. So I opted out and I stayed a block away at my mom and my dad's apartment that they had rented. And I stayed in the bed. Okay. It was nice. But it would be like people reaching out to me to interview me for something I didn't even go to, and such a huge thing, a world tragedy that happened, 9/11, like, why would you interview some dude from Greece, Anyways. All right. So we're going to go to the next one. Now this is going to connect us to Skull and Bones, which there is oh crap. Okay. Hold on. There is I don't know how to explain it just yet. I don't have it right in front of me, but I'll grab it while this clip is playing. But the prophet of the Mormon church that just passed away, Russell Nelson, okay, he was a skull and bone. He wrote it in his own autobiography called Heart to Heart. And I'll share that with you in just a second after this clip plays. But so there was a Yale chapter, which is where it if anybody can help me in the chat, help me explain it. I really appreciate it. Any of this stuff. It originated it with Yale, okay, but it also broke off into Utah, University of Utah, okay. So that is where Russell M. Nelson, the prophet that just died, he was initiated into the Skull and Bones. And so was M. Russell Ballard, okay, which is Tim Ballard's right-hand man before he passed away, grandpa, maybe, I think it's Tim's grandpa. I really do. Or some kind of affiliation. I mean, they hide bloodlines. They hide relationships. I've learned that too. So yeah, it's just fun. It's like whack-a-mole. Anyways, let me play this. After he takes a sip. Let me go grab that clip too.
But the freshly uncovered memos, and by the way, everybody, these are memos I'm going to show you after the fact. They're going to be a bit blurry, but you can find them on the Washington Post. And if you know anything about the Washington Post, you have to be a member in order to see the information on their site. So I was able to get it from Google, but it's a bit blurry. But I will show them to you, right? But the freshly uncovered memos contend that Bush maintained a close personal and business relationship for decades with a CIA staff employee who, according to those CIA documents, was instrumental in the establishment of Bush's oil venture.
And that, okay.
Zapata, in the early 1950s.
Let me let it finish. Actually, hold on. I got to tell you right now because I'll forget. So how last time, I think it was whenever I was live with Joe last Tuesday, I was telling y'all how my other family, like my real dad's side of the family, how there were 99 oil wells in Southeast Texas that were stolen from my family. And then here he is talking about how George Bush was, all into the oil business at that point in time. And I'm like, well, yeah, there you go. That's where I think it went. But anyways, I don't know. I can't prove it. But there were some attorneys working on it in my family, or from my family, not in my family, but from it on that side of the family. But it was going to be like this huge, and it's been like my family has been trying to get their rights back. But, you're going up against a bunch of billionaires, that stole your oil allegedly. So there's that. So I could be a billionaire right now. And I would not be a shitty one. Everybody would be rich. There's no sense in that. All right, let me hush.
You have to be a member in order to see the information on their site. So I was able to get it from Google, but it's a bit blurry. But I will show them to you. Right? But the freshly uncovered memos contend that Bush maintained a close personal and business relationship for decades with a CIA staff employee who, according to those CIA documents, was instrumental in the establishment of Bush's oil venture, Zapata, in the early 1950s.
Zapata?
Who would later accompany Bush to Vietnam as a cleared and winning commercial asset of the agency. According to a CIA internal memo dated November 29th, 1975, Bush's original oil company, Zapata Petroleum, began in 1953 through joint efforts with Thomas J. Devine, a CIA staffer, right? Let's see if we can scroll down here to the juicy stuff.
Oh, here, I found it. Hold on, let me pause.
It was while Devine...
Hold on. Only because I found it real quick and I can get it off my screen too. Okay, so one heart, one mind. Okay, one world order. All right, that's where that goes for me. Peacemakers attempt to... This is a long time ago too. This is from June 11, 2024. Okay. One heart, one mind. Peacemakers attempting to end abuse in the LDS church without causing contention. I don't think so. That's not how that played out, in my opinion. The death of cosplay, Christianity, and public relations religion. I don't know who wrote this. Let's see. LDS Church of... Oh. I don't know. Hold on. The president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Russell M. Nelson, is out and about. This is a year ago, claiming that there are 15 men. Okay, this is from Justin Riggs. There are 15 men you can trust completely. When he says this, he is referring to himself and the other 14 men who make up the first presidency and the quorum of the 12 apostles of that same institution. This is wildly different than what the founder of the religion said, which is Joseph Smith, as we will see at the end of this post, and also in direct opposition to what the standard works teach. So what is a Mormon to do? So Justin says, I say we look at the evidence and then decide for ourselves. Shall we get started? So it's basically a transcript. First, here's the evidence that Russell M. Nelson is out preaching that, quote, there are 15 men on the earth today. I'm sorry, there are 15 on the earth today. You can trust them completely, unquote. And so he has a video. As we all know, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Let's examine President Nelson's claim in light of the history of the last 120 years or so. 1903, Senator Reed Smoot goes to Washington, D.C. with the blessing of Mormon prophet Joseph Fielding Smith and Apostle Heber J. Grant, who had political aspirations himself. And this says fall of 1909, Yale Skull and Bones chapter spins up at the University of Utah. Okay. October 3rd, 1911, William Howard Taft, Skull and Bones president, visits Utah. Oh, and the Utah co-eds regale him with Yale songs. I'm sorry, it's very difficult for me to read today. Okay. Yeah. 1920s through the 80s, Sigma Chi, occult secret society member and future Utah governor Herbert Mall, that's a weird last name, and Salt Lake City Rotary International member and Utah Senator Wallace F. Bennett, choosing Skull and Bones members to place in positions of power and influence in business, law, and ecclesiastical groups, fraternities Sigma Chi, Pi Kappa Alpha, Beta, Theta, Pi as minor league teams. Oh my God, that's a mouthful. My uncle, Charles Vallow, was a Kappa Sig. Okay, so I'm like, oh shit, I've got to do some research into all that stuff too. Could he have been a Freemason? I don't know. He was connected. I mean, these are things I have to ask, things I have to explore, to get the real picture. All right, so there's this, Skull and Bones honorary junior organization. Okay, then here, this is like in blackface or whatever. What do they call that? Blackface. I forget what they call it, which is not good to do. April 27th, 1943, Russell Marion's Nelson's dad. Let me back that up. Marion Clavar Nelson becomes wartime Salt Lake City Rotary president. Marion Clavar Nelson's father, A.C. Nelson, was surrounded by children and very concerned about their appearance. His actions concerned some parents of the children he was supposed to be educating. President Nelson uses a miracle story regarding A.C. Nelson all the time. I highly doubt its authenticity, based on the similarities it has with Gordon B. Hinckley's famous Beatitudes and Russell Marion Nelson's rivalry with Hinckley. My goodness. I hesitate a lot with Russell M. Nelson and M. Russell Ballard. It's really hard. It's a lot. And I'm like, what? And my brain fights with itself. Anyway, so there's the prophet that just passed away, Russell Nelson's dad. Okay. Then I was trying to get to this pretty quick, but 1943 to 44, Dumbarton Conference and Rotary ties to United Nations, which they go to Utah. Okay. They go there now. All right. So now you know what I know. Other notable Mormon Rotary members are Ivins, Pinnock, Evans, etc. 1970 and 1980s, Russell M. Nelson rising through the ranks. Hinckley is in charge of intelligence gathering and propaganda arm of the LDS Church. Checks to Armenia and China. Need to take a picture of this from book I got yesterday. I guess that's me making notes. Special Affairs Committee, Ralph Hardy, Beverly Campbell, R.W. Barker, Gordon Bowen, CIA document showing Mormons asking for IBM equipment and then endorsing the mission of the CIA, who is fascinated with the occult. Boom. This is where I believe my aunt, oh, what the hell? She must be working her bippity boppity on me right now on my computer. This is where I believe this ties in with what we saw from Chad and Lori. That right there. And then endorsing the mission of the CIA, who is fascinated with the occult. Boom. They were remote viewing, for Christ's sake. Spencer W. Kimball meeting with Saudi Arabian CIA assets in the Khashoggi family. At the same time, Beverly Campbell is trying to use Saudi Arabian investor money to buy land near CIA headquarters. 60s to present. Woolsey family, Grant, Janine, etc. Heber, Grant, Woolsey, on Sunday School General Board. Y'all, I'm sorry, my mouth is not working. Mount Olympus, Skyline, and East in the 1960s. Paper Dolls covers this abuse and church's lack of action regarding it. That's the abuse case we had been talking about, the Bountiful abuse case. Okay, that's that case. That's Dick and Brenda Miles. Okay. Okay, so next it says former Skyline High student Brian David Mitchell kidnaps Elizabeth Smart and our words, her, daily. Well, I learned from Justin Riggs, who I've had on, who researches crazily into all this. Okay. He's very, very well educated on this part of it, like a couple of these rings. Okay. And it's some that I would keep running into, but I didn't know like all the people. I couldn't, he lays it out, right? So you don't have to. And then if you want to, you can go dig into it and learn for yourself, and I suggest you do that. But anyways, so I learned that Brian David Mitchell is allegedly within the Hamlin and the Bountiful abuse ring allegedly as well. So I think that's fascinating. I never knew that was even a possibility with Brian David Mitchell and Elizabeth Smart. So it's like, okay, Ed Smart, these things are so interconnected. It's like, oh, the webs we weave, Okay, so former Skyline High student David Fuller murders Casey Woody, which I still have to look into. I keep forgetting about that. I want to. 1986, former Skyline High student Bill Carstensen and Brenda and Dick Miles accused of child sex ring in Bountiful, Utah, and Mormon apostle, which is Russell M. Nelson, and future prophet Russell Marion Nelson receives hand-delivered, quote, abuse cover-up instructions, unquote, which this is not a good word choice, from a backdoor courier who is related to Special Affairs Committee member. That's when it's special affairs like that. That's some kind of 3-letter agency. Okay. And prominent Washington, D.C. lawyer Ralph W. Hardy Jr. And then I do remember learning recently that, here it is. Okay. Let me shush. 1988 to 1992, Maryland Hueyman children's abuse due to Russell M. Nelson covering up Bountiful S ring in order to, he's obviously was protecting his daughter and son-in-law, allegedly, in my opinion, and according to this document. So March 5th, 2011, Miles' lawsuit gets dismissed. They get called as mission presidents, right? They get to move up in the ranks while their alleged victims get, dissed and excommunicated, and, they get shamed. They get bullied. They get not believed. Okay. I hate that. 2018 lawsuit, Skull and Bones lawyer Jim Jardine allegedly lies in Utah Supreme Court, but nobody catches it or calls him out. Here we go. So finally, dun dun dun. This. Oh, let me make that smaller so it'll fit your screen if you want to screenshot it. Skull and Bones. Okay. A highly selective society. The junior men's honorary is known as Skull and Bones. It is a highly selective organization consisting of only 11 men. The entrance procedure is stiff and demanding. A GPA of 3.5 is required, as well as participation in campus and community activities. The honorary is currently in the process of going national. To become the equivalent of the quote unquote blue key honorary. The purpose of the group's meetings is to prepare the members for their national status. Applications for Skull and Bones aspirants are due in the spring. The final selection from the candidates is made by the members from the current year. And then Council on Foreign Relations member Garrett W. Gong. This goes to the Hamlin's case right there. And also with Gordon Bowen. Okay, let me hush. Council on Foreign Relations member Garrett W. Gong. He's also a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. He's a hierarchy. Garrett W. Gong called by Skull and Bones prophet Russell M. Nelson as new Mormon apostle. Gong has deep family ties to multiple times accused child M. Esther. Okay, Gordon Bowen. Nelson's COVID quote unquote literal godsend and quote good global citizens unquote statements. June 1st, 2022, David Hamblin case starts making national news. But this is like, first off, the first time the allegations of abuse came up was in 2012. So just know that part. It just came back up again. Okay. And I'm going to have to say, and this is just as far as my understanding right now, I believe that that's due to Nicholas Rossi. So, you know, there you go. I lost my spot. June 1st, 2022, David Hamblin case starts making national news, which includes ties to, quote, I'm not a cannibal, but I do trade orphans for buffalo, unquote, attorney David Levitt. I didn't write that. So I'm going to say allegedly. Oakes is next. He's the one who, quote unquote, killed the book about abuse that the Mormon Irma Bombeck Janine Woolsey Badsgard wrote because Janine's sister threatened to sue Deseret Book if it was published. Allegedly, Joseph Smith, the man who founded Mormonism, had this to say about himself and the man he was serving with. Quote, I do not think there have been many good men on the earth since the days of Adam, but there was one good man, and his name was Jesus. Just know, in my opinion, from my research, from my knowledge in this, that for the most part, the people in these upper echelons who are of these quote unquote, these either they're self-perceived, I don't know, or maybe they are elite bloodlines. They actually, when they say Jesus, when they say Heavenly Father, when they say God, I mean, just all the things that you and I would say to talk about the the Jesus of Christianity, the God of Christianity, whatever. But they really are saying Satan. They are really talking about Lucifer. This was learned. I learned that from the Hamblin victim statements. Okay. I don't know if Joseph Smith did, but I suspect that this is the case because, it all ties in together. Trust me. It does. They're all related. Okay. And his name was Jesus. Many persons think a prophet must be a great deal better than anybody else. Suppose I would condescend. Yes, I will call it condescend to be a great deal better than any of you. Does that sound like Christian stuff? No. I would be raised up to the highest heaven. And who should I have to accompany me? Quote, I love that man better who swears a stream as long as my arm, yet deals justice to his neighbors and mercifully deals his substance to the poor than the long, smooth-faced hypocrite. Anybody got a mirror? Oh, quote, I don't want you to think I am very righteous, for I am not. Really? Quote, God judges men according to the use they make of the light which he gives them. It's not the right light. Satan is the angel of light. Okay, somebody tell him. I live in a world of probabilities. I do my best to gather data and then make decisions based on the probability that what I choose will benefit me and not harm others. Everybody else gets to do the same if they so choose. Most of us simply find a tribe that is willing to protect us and provide for our basic needs and a few of our wants. That's okay too, I suppose, although it tends to lead to suboptimal outcomes when looking at things through the lens of, quote, human liberty is important, unquote. I hope this data will help you and those you love make good choices regarding whether you will accept the current crop of Mormon leadership's claims that they are 15 men you can trust completely. I, for one, would prefer to find another set of men and women who know they aren't all that righteous and commiserate, commune, and worship my Lord and Savior with them. Maybe in time I will be so lucky. God bless, Justin. Okay. Whew. It still didn't say, I just still didn't find that exact screenshot. So I'm sorry. I'll find it. All right, let's go back to this. And then I'll go read some comments.
And by the way, everybody, these are memos I'm going to show you after the fact. They're going to be a bit blurry, but you can find them on the Washington Post. And if you know anything about the Washington Post, you have to be a member in order to see the information on their site. So I was able to get it from Google, but it's a bit blurry. But I will show them to you, right? But the freshly uncovered memos contend that Bush maintained a close personal and business relationship for decades with a CIA staff employee who, according to those CIA documents, was instrumental in the establishment of Bush's oil venture, Zapata, in the early 1950s.
Zapata.
Who would later accompany Bush to Vietnam as a cleared and witting commercial asset of the agency. According to a CIA internal memo dated November 29th, 1975,
I just need this
Bush's
to fill it in.
original oil company, Zapata Petroleum, began in 1953 through joint efforts with Thomas J. Devine, a CIA staffer, right? Let's see if we can scroll down here to the juicy stuff.
Did it start over again? And am I tripping? No way.
It was while Devine was in his new CIA capacity as a commercial cover officer that he accompanied Bush to Vietnam the day after Christmas in 1967, remaining in the country with the newly elected congressman from Texas until January 11, 1968. While the elder Bush was in Vietnam with Devine, George W. Bush, so his son, was making contact with representatives of the Texas Air National Guard, using his father's connections to join up with an elite Houston-based Guard unit, thus avoiding overseas combat service, an award that the Bushes strongly supported. The new revelation about George H.W. Bush's CIA friend and fellow Zapata offshore board member will surely fuel further speculation that Bush himself had his own associations with the agency.
Yep. And
Right?
by extension, that would also, because M. Russell Ballard and Russell M. Nelson and Jim Jordan, are all to do with the Mormon side of this, is what I'm saying. They're affiliated by association by Skull and Bones, Secret Society, which there were 11 at a time. We just read all that stuff. So that's all I'm trying to tie in right here is they have ties to the CIA. The CIA loves to recruit from BYU campus, from Utah, UVU, y'all, where this Charlie Kirk stuff took place. And I believe like Tom Harrison is a front, how I've been telling you guys that Lori and Chad, they were doing the astral projection crap. Janet Russin also with Tim Ballard, as she was serving or whatever. She was getting paid a lot of money as a psychic to be Tim Ballard's intel for these ops, these quote unquote ops that he was staging, in my opinion, allegedly. That's no different than what I believe is happening here in the Charlie Kirk case. I don't know whether I don't know. I'm not going to go that far. I don't know if anybody, people do get hurt in these things. They die, they lose their lives. Look at the jab, the COVID thing. That was real. It's real. 9/11. It's real. It really hurts people. People die. They're sacrificed, whatever you want to look at it as. But that's what this looks like too. Oh, that makes sense, Huggy Bear. It does. Yeah, it tracks. We'll put that on in its own little column too. I swear. I need like a spreadsheet amped up on, I don't know, on Elon Musk's AI or something. Oh my gosh, let me turn my ear. Okay, now I can maybe hear. This is wild, y'all. I mean, this is what we're dealing with, in my opinion. This is what, when I've all these years I've been trying to say that Lori and Chad are just a front, that preparing a people is just a front. Operation Underground Railroad, a front of something far more dark and far more sinister going on in the background. Okay. So it's like, that's what these are. These are CIA, in my opinion, allegedly ops going on in the background. That's why people are dying and children get hurt and missing and things like that. Do some research. It will maybe save the lives of your children, your grandchildren, your sister, your brother. I don't know. It'll make you more self-aware. Okay, that felt really good to get off my chest, y'all. It is scary, but it's not, okay? Because they're so predictable, okay? They're so predictable. Once you get, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I can get murked right now for doing what I'm doing. I'll piss the wrong one off right now. They watch. That's what they do. They hire committees and they watch. And y'all don't think that they don't care what we say? Okay. Okay, right? They're the ones that freak out. And, I mean, that's where I believe the social credit score is going to come from, is coming. I think it's been at play right here on YouTube. Okay. You notice we got to say code words, keywords. It's not for sensitivity of, maybe some victims or alleged victims that maybe run across our channels and to, make it sensitive for them. No, it's because they don't want to be talked about. Okay. And so I get paid, my videos get pushed out, my channel gets recommended according to how well I score socially. Okay. So it's like, there you go. There you go. You know? Um, let's see, that Charlie's death is a psyop because if the killer was an illegal alien. Yeah, right. I don't even know. Do you ever question, like, was she saying "I forgive you" to somebody that she didn't even know, really? Or, I mean, not that I expect her to know Tyler, but or to Charlie, or I don't know. It's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird. I don't know. It's up for debate. It's just one of those things. Another thing that I'm questioning, and I mean, it's sad. It's sad. It is. It's disgusting too, because they also, and I don't like to use the us versus them either. And it's not versus, it's just they, meaning not my beliefs. Okay. Like these people that I research, all their little posse. Okay. Brother, Valhalla. I mean, come on. These are like dog whistle galore. It is so enriched with dog whistles. Okay. Let me let this finish playing and I'm gonna go find this other clip I found.
Previously disclosed FBI files include a memo from Bureau Director J. Edgar Hoover noting that this organization had given a briefing to two men in the intelligence community on November 23rd, 1963. So this is before he stepped into his position as president, worked under Gerald Ford. This is before he became CIA director. The day after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, the memo refers to one as Mr. George Bush of the Central Intelligence Agency and the other as Captain William Edwards of the Defense Intelligence Agency.
I don't blame him.
It says when Nation magazine contributor Joseph McBride first uncovered this document in 1988, so this is like 15 years later, George H.W. Bush, who was then vice president and trying to become president, insisted through a spokesman that he was not the man mentioned in the memo. I was in Houston, Texas at the time and involved in the independent oil drilling business, and I was running for the Senate in late 63. I don't have any idea of what he's talking about. The spokesman added, must be another George Bush.
Mm-hmm.
When McBride approached the CIA at the time, it initially invoked a policy of neither admitting nor denying anyone's involvement with the agency, but it soon took the unusual step of asserting that the correct individual was a George William Bush, a one-time Virginia staffer whom the agency claimed it could no longer locate. But that George Bush,
Shocker.
discovered in his office in the Social Security Administration by McBride, noted that he was a low-ranked coast and landing beach analyst and that he most certainly never received such an FBI briefing.
I bet not. It missed him. All right, hold on. Hold that thought. Because I found this fascinating too. I'm choking here, so sorry. All right. Here we go. Ready for the microphone?
Update. Sounds just like Jim.
Okay, we're gonna play it just a second.
Familiar,
Hold on.
Which I also want to point out real quick that gold microphone of
He didn't
Rush
have
Limbaugh.
he didn't have it in that clip, but he did use the same model gold microphone.
Right. That microphone was actually gifted to Glenn Beck after Rush Limbaugh died.
Oh,
And,
the Mormon,
Glenn,
huh?
Glenn Beck recently hosted the Charlie Kirk show and brought that golden microphone and placed it in Charlie's spot. Yes, he did. In fact, let me see if I can find a clip of it real quick.
Yeah, please do. That's very interesting because again, it's a lineage. It's the chronology of events and lineage of these actions and people that interest me. And again, I am firmly convinced this was indeed Jim Morrison. They both had they also have another circumstantial piece of evidence. They both had a serious heroin problem.
Right.
Oh. This also just reminded me too of y'all. One day I was like really just digging through, like, I don't know why I do this. It's something that I do, whether it was, even before computers were around, I would just like read, what do you call that? The owner's manual, or just, I don't know. I'm weird. And my grandfather, on the Vallow side, he was a banker, right? Gotta look into that. I don't know. And he wrote the FDIC, whatever stuff for the big bank here in town. And so, I mean, it just I kind of liken it to that. I went to and I became a certified occupational safety specialist. And I mean, a lot of people are like, ew, safety, yuck, that's so boring. And I'm like, ooh, let me dig in. So I was digging into Wikipedia one time, and I remember I was like in I would say the background, I was just digging around, and I ran across this song that was written and I guess played by, I don't know. It's like music, it's a guitar and a guy singing, and he's basically singing about, he's alleging that Glenn Beck murked his sister. Okay. And I'm just like, whoa, what the hell did I just land on? This is weird. Okay. Anyways, I screen recorded that shit, and yeah, I can share it. But and I also wonder if there's some kind of weird tie between Nirvana and Glenn Beck too. And I forget why I say that, but let me put that there, and then maybe I'll remember. These people are into every damn thing, and they are very messy. Okay, so it's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, that's incredibly interesting. I mean, it makes sense though. A lot of those guys at that time, had massive heroin problems. It was the cool thing to do back then, right?
Right.
So,
and then
look, Huggy Bear's over there. Okay, I get it. I'm like, what?
Right. Let's see. So if you want to pull up what I have, it's actually the clip. So let's see, it's a 2-minute clip.
Desert Rain. But this is how they gloat in your face. And also, Glenn Beck loves to wear skull and bones everywhere.
That I would sit in front of Charlie's microphone. It was given to me after the death of Rush Limbaugh, his wife.
There it is.
Look at that fake crying, y'all.
I think I froze my back.
Yes.
Yeah, you missed
Yes,
some
you
fake
are.
Ryan acting.
Yeah, dude, that's interesting. That's very interesting because I think Glenn Beck's an interesting character.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yes. Oh
Not
yeah.
many people convert to Mormonism at the age of 40.
Amen.
Right.
You know?
Well, and I think that was all show, anyways.
Yeah.
Well, you married a Mormon, right?
Right.
Who I was under the
Right. So
impression.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, gosh. I was under the impression, and I still wonder, but I remember learning, whatever. I was never able to corroborate it. So right now it's not a fact, but that Tim and Glenn were actually brother-in-laws via Tim's wife, Catherine, would have been like Glenn's wife's sister. I don't know. Some people have said no. Some people have said yeah. I don't know. I haven't looked for myself, but anyways, that's the word on the streets back in the day.
he places the microphone right in front of Charlie's spot. It's like,
Charlie.
isn't that weird?
I mean, and Glenn Beck is known. Look, his forehead's about to fall off. I swear to God. Glenn Beck is like known for using the dog whistle. The Constitution is hanging by a thread. Okay. Hello, Mason. You know what I'm saying? Like, they keep your powder dry. Eh? I cannot confirm nor deny. Those are all dog whistles.
So,
I mean, this whole matters of Charlie Kirk are, again, very interesting.
Let's listen to the rest of his story.
Lieutenant Joseph Kirk of the Virginia chapter of the Society of Cincinnati. That should not be ignored.
Gotcha.
His wife is Swedish. Her father or grandfather, I forget it is. First of all, there's only 20 folks in the entire world named Francie. It's one family.
Francie.
20
her people.
Grandfather, I believe it was knighted by the King of Sweden, who's a member of the Society of Cincinnati.
Oh, damn. Let me go look. I'm sorry.
Which is
I'm slow.
That was all show anyway.
33 at the bottom of what? Of the microphone?
Pull up. So let's see. It's a 2-minute clip of. Let's see.
Go there so I can read y'all's comments too.
While I did the show, that I would sit in front of Charlie's microphone.
33 Productions.
Death of Rush Limbaugh, wife.
There it is.
That is so fake.
I think I froze him.
And it looks like a S toy.
Yeah, dude, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Oh, I see it. I see what you're talking about.
Oh, yes. Oh,
not many people convert to Mormonism at the age of 40.
Look, he's wearing the same shirt too as Charlie.
I think that was all show anyways.
Charlie's microphone.
Well, you married a Mormon, right?
And look, okay. Don't you get very I got vibes like necromancy-ish. I know. I mean, maybe that's a little too far, but kind of not with these people, I just it crossed my mind. He's sitting there, yeah.
Right. So I mean, he places the microphone right in front.
Oh, he just did the things too. Tim does that a lot. He's gonna do the 2 pointer fingers, It's another way of throwing the devil's horns.
Right. So I mean, he places
he's a good sign thrower too.
Places the mic
right there.
Microphone right in front of Charlie's spot,
Oh,
it's like,
and there again.
Isn't that weird?
He don't have the balls.
I mean, this whole matters of Charlie Kirk are, again, very interesting. Charlie Kirk's forefather.
It'll look like one.
Joseph
Okay.
Kirk of the Virginia chapter of the Society of Cincinnati. That should not be ignored. His
Right.
wife is Swedish.
He is.
Her father or grandfather.
Love his
I forget
shows.
It is. There's only 20 folks in the entire world named Francie. It's one family.
Right.
And her grandfather, I believe it was knighted by the King of Sweden, who's a member of the Society of Cincinnati.
Oh no! Oh, that's
Which
crazy.
Just
yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying, dude. So, but again, when you start just for Glenn Beck, I'm going to look more into this Glenn Beck situation. I'm very intrigued.
He's going to tell a story about Glenn Beck.
You're an ex-Mo like myself. Again, it's odd to me.
JJ was an ex-Mo.
Mormonism, regardless of who he married, because I'm always confused by these things. And
I
my
just
cousin
think
here. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I just think it's it's a play. It's a script for him. I don't think that he's converting to Mormonism because he actually
weird,
believes, Lori. It's got to be for something behind the scenes that we don't see. I don't believe
he
it.
believes, sir. He believes.
That dude makes too many symbolisms on his own face.
I witnessed it myself in the years
him.
beforehand for his official transition there. I was I used to hang out at Fox News like it was a bar. That makes sense.
Yes.
So one of my dudes, like one of my garbage can dudes, one of my quote unquote brothers in life, I've known since 1998 or so. There, he did one enlistment in the Air Force, military police, and got out and went to radio broadcasting school, and he's been a production. On the production side of Fox News ever since then. And,
no, it's his hair.
For the last 20 or so years, 20 plus.
It's like a mohawk.
So, I used to go up there to Manhattan, hang out with him. My favorite bar in the world, especially America, is there. McSorley's old Irish ale house, built in 1864. 54. Folks like Abraham Lincoln and gang have been there. And anyone since then you can think of note, basically. But
Tim loves
there,
Abe
despite
Lincoln.
never living in New York City. But in doing these things, I would hang out at Fox News, and Glenn. I assure you, the years preceding Glenn Beck's transition there, when he was at Fox there still, he was deep into mounds, dude. He was getting real big in all these mound stuff, ancient American history, and everything else.
Know who else is big in the mounds? Anybody? Big into the mounds. Rod Meldrum, the Firm Foundation, Firm Expo. Glenn Beck, of course, we know has been a speaker and is good friends with Rod Meldrum. Interesting, right? I know. And, Tim too. Timmy too. Can't leave little Timmy out.
Right. I do think he became a true believer at some point.
Allegedly.
Well,
in the Brotherhood.
I think there's definitely, he believes in something, but even some of the leaders of the LDS Church, I don't believe that they actually believe what they're preaching.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's a good point.
A very good point.
All right, sir. Well, we're going to bring this Patreon side to a close. Folks can check out the rest of this conversation here, what we've been introducing here. The 6 degrees of satanic music, some of these weird, high weirdness around there. And again, ask a former Satanist, kind of a vector check on a lot of these ideas we've been discussing. I want to hear more about these.
Oh, is it over? Yep. Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to grab the link to JJ's channel. It's right here. Oh my God, I'm not a fast typer. Operation GED. Okay. And so let me put this in the chat too. Let me copy it first. Okay. Now it's in the chat. And then, okay, let me go back to DD. We got a JJ's, DD's, all kinds of things, right? Going back to here. He's taking a sip.
It was perhaps to help lay to rest the larger matter of the elder Bush's past associations that the former president went out of his way during his recent eulogy for President Ford to sing the praises of the Warren Commission report. And we talked about the Warren Commission report, which I'll get into that here in a sec, as the final authority on those days. After a deluded gunman assassinated President Kennedy, our nation turned to Gerald Ford and a select handful of others to make sense of that madness. And a conspiracy theorist can say what they will, but the Warren Commission report will always have the final definitive say on this tragic matter. Why? Because Gary Ford put his name on it, and Gary Ford's word was always good.
That's funny.
Interesting. Let me tell you all why this is especially interesting. Because if you remember, if you've seen my Martin Luther King documentary, I have proven that the people who ran the Warren Commission, which was a former judge, during the time that President Kennedy was assassinated, and we all know the reason why President Kennedy was assassinated, the Warren Commission was a 33rd degree Freemason.
Uh-huh.
That's public information. Not only that, but that the person that was brought in to be the Warren Commissioner, to run the Warren Commission, and also the vice president who was under John F. Kennedy at the time, both were super pro-Israel after John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Why is any of this relevant? Because remember, right before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, it has been reported by several credible sources that he was, how should I put this?
Liars.
He was not as pro-Israel as he once was.
Oh. Yeah, that makes the most sense for the Charlie Kirk thing.
He was not as pro as he once was. And if you remember the paragraph that I just read, they accused the person that assassinated John F. Kennedy as a lone shooter, which is the same narrative that they're doing for Charlie Kirk.
Yep. In my opinion.
All right. But let's continue.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I know that was the most grueling part. I know. But it was worth it.
George Zinn was also interviewed regarding 9/11, right? And many people have stated that this guy was actually present, but I have not been able to find any credible information on that. But I was able to find a very interesting interview. This same guy,
thank you, Tom.
George Zinn, was interviewed. He was interviewed immediately following 9/11, despite the fact that he states that he wasn't even in New York. Apparently, he was in another state and he only saw it. Or maybe I'm remembering that incorrectly.
You're right.
Candace Owens spoke on this a little bit, but Candace Owens, I don't think, has the interview. Let me bring you all something that I haven't seen anybody else cover.
Here we go.
George Zinn gave an exclusive interview about 9/11. Take a listen to this.
Just on September 10th, 2001, and I'm a huge Broncos fan, so I was. It was the opening night of Denver Broncos Stadium. I went down there, and we were playing the Giants that night. And so
yeah, we already heard this
event for us. I remembered everything that happened. We opened the stadium on September 10th, 2001. And so, I was
I'm transferring
stuff.
Giants, hold on.
Which was good. I remember that was when Ed McCaffrey actually got hurt that night.
Yeah, I feel like these are dog whistles.
And so I'm ready to go leave the hotel on September 11th, early that morning, and go back to Salt Lake City. And they said, come down, look in the lobby.
Oh, hold on, I'm filling in some.
But the freshly uncovered memos, and by the way, everybody, these are memos I'm going to show you after the fact. They're going to be a bit blurry, but you can find them on the Washington Post.
Okay, we are.
And if you know anything,
what? Oh, it's repeating. Okay, God, I don't like when they do that. Okay, y'all, I'm sorry. Okay, CIA exposed the truth about this suspicious figure.
This guy's background is extremely suspicious, and we're about to expose it in this video. Someone said at the beginning, "Do you mean the FBI, not the CIA?" Absolutely not. I mean the CIA.
Oh crap. Okay. Oh, okay. I can't do that. Sorry.
This guy's background is extremely suspicious. At the beginning, do you mean the FBI, not the CIA? Absolutely not. I mean the CIA. I have the right word in the title of this video, CIA, not the FBI. One could argue that they're one and the same these days, but I mean the CIA. This guy, in my opinion, is a crisis actor, and this guy, in my opinion, is a decoy. I believe that he is a CIA asset, allegedly. Everything I say in this video is alleged.
Me too.
I'll let you all decide if you believe any of this. I'm just going to present the facts to you.
Okay, I think it's about to start over. All right. Yep. This is where I'm just like, oh my gosh. I've heard all these things before, but just seeing it, totally different.
Utah has been described as the pipeline for federal agencies because BYU has strong language programs and a large LDS student body with missionary experience. Did you hear that?
They love the missionaries, the extra
with
languages.
Missionary experience. Boom.
Thank you, Daisy.
And I want to further drive home the point that this guy George Zinn just seemed to be in the cahoots with other powerful people.
Okay.
The Salt Lake Tribune says,
all right. So that's from the Salt Lake Tribune. They're saying that, and I mean, we also know this about BYU, where they actually recruit on campus. Okay. That's pretty wide known. It's pretty mainstream known. At least I think it is. If not, it should be. But I mean, with all the missions that they send the missionaries on, that they have to pay for it themselves. But actually, before I came on tonight, Dee did it again. And I'll share that with you in just a second, what he found about what's on the campus of UVU. UVU is also the same campus where my friend Jen went to school. And I actually went there whenever I was in Idaho for Lori's trial, but I went down to Salt Lake City to stay a little time with my friends. And I went to the bookstore there, and I just remember that today. And I was like, oh crap. But Tom Harrison is a teacher there. He's been a teacher there forever. And he's been in conflict resolution. He's even been to some kind of law program or whatever. Well, I don't know. He's got all kinds of degrees, of course. And I'm sure more than just academic, you know what I'm saying? I believe that's what Visions of Glory is. Like when I say dog whistles, I mean, it can be Mormon. It could be Mormon speak. It could be, to answer your question, I forget. I started. Okay. Montana. And thank you, Daisy Jade. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you. I need to do a ditty or something. No, I'm not going to do a ditty. My bad. I take that back. Do a little jig. I don't know. I dance. I don't know. Yeah, when I say dog whistles, okay, like Glenn Beck will say the Constitution's hanging by a thread. It's like a virtue signal, a caca, it could be masonry, it could be, or whatever secret society they're in. I mean, anyways, I believe Glenn Beck for sure is in one of them. Okay. And if I had to guess, it would be Skull and Bones, and I'm not the only one. And it's good to know that. I'm like, am I going crazy? Glenn Beck likes to wear a lot of Skull and Bones, but like there's information, there's communications between like Glenn Beck, Tim Ballard, and Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee, Utah Senator Mike Lee. Right around the same time that that shit hit the fan for Tim Ballard in the church, whenever the women filed the lawsuits against him, alleging that they were, duped, basically, the couple's ruse, all that fraud and SA alleged, whatever, all the allegations. And so there were email communications between Glenn, Mike, and Tim that, I mean, you can find them online. I have them. I can share them with you, the link or whatever to the PDFs to the lawsuits. Okay. Because there's still allegations. Tim has gotten off on technicalities. So again, it's not like, oh, you won in court because you're innocent. It's definitely not that. It's the opposite of that. But they talk about keep your powder dry. And so it's like and I've also heard Eric Mutso say this. I've heard Rod Meldrum say this. So there's like a brotherhood. So there's not only Mormonism, okay, club, so to speak. They don't just belong to the same beliefs, but they could also be Masons themselves. They can also, I mean, there's so many different factions of this. I'm learning, it's not just cut and dry. Satanism is not just cut and dry. There's always some kind of scale, and it's crazy and it'll drive you crazy. There's not just one, it's a spectrum of beliefs. And I mean, that's same for Mormonism, same for Christianity, same for, I'm sure, atheists and everybody, it's a sliding scale, we'll believe this or that, but not, we just kind of, depending on our experiences. So, but it could be anything, but they do like to use Mormon speak and I mean, I'm just going to assume like greater light and knowledge. Jason Mao uses greater light and knowledge, which I found out earlier is a Mason term. And I'm like, well, there you go. It's also a Book of Mormon term. But to know that Freemasonry is huge, it's like incorporated into the temple endowments, the temple ceremony. Whenever like, okay, like Lori was my aunt Lori Vallow, she was just a regular church member, okay, where there's two different churches. There's two different things going on in Mormonism, okay? There is the regular church meeting houses, and then there's the temples. The temples are the ones closer to God, you know, whatever. It's kind of like bangs back in the day. The higher the hair, the closer to God you are. Anyways. So we have her on recording, Lori, on recordings. Oh crap. Oh God. Okay, hold on, got a bug. I got hold on. Okay. Y'all, I gotta get my shit together. That freaked me out. Okay. A little late for a damn June bug, but oh my God. Okay. Those really freak me out when they get in your hair, but it didn't get in my hair because I moved fast. Big girl can move. Anyways, I forget what I was saying. Oh, okay. So Lori, we have her on recording because Melanie Gibb. No, it was a damn June bug. I hope. I don't know. They have some little. Well, I'll have to ask Jason about the new. He said something about the stink bugs, but it's not a stink bug. It can like kill you. And I'm like, oh my God. But it wasn't green. I call Jason June bug. It's damn October June bug. Anyways, all right. So Lori was talking about like in the very initial, like when you first turn on the recording, where Lori says that basically in the same recording that she says she wants to kill Joe, or she killed Joe, or if she threatened her bishop that either you give me my temple recommend or I'm gonna commit murder. Okay, and she did both. Okay. Anyway, so in that recording, when you first turn it on, she talks about being elevated. She talks about living the higher law, okay, which is the covenant law. Oh my God, are you serious? Oh my God, Huggy Bear. Me and Trish have about the same damn luck. I've come to that conclusion a long time ago. I'm like, oh my God, we have the same problems. Right. Yeah. The rapture, well, they believe in the, um, oh, what's it called? The half hour of silence, or which is in between. So I do know that, the half hour of silence. Man, there's so many clips I keep thinking of. I'm like, oh, I could pull this clip. I could pull that clip, but I ain't got enough time or computers, to go grab all the things. But, um, still Lori was talking about, she also said being on the bottom rung. Now, when I'm learning about masonry, I'm just now getting into this, or I say I'm just now getting into it. I'm still brand new though, I'm learning as I go. But hold on, I had pulled a video earlier. Let me share this one and go fix my screen. Let's see. I had pulled this up earlier. It's pretty old though, and it's from England. It should be safe to use.
Of charity. I have.
This is like the Brotherhood, okay? Allegedly. Brother, this video from Mormonish podcast, because I also want to share this with you. They were talking about the Family Manifesto. It was national news just 7 years before the Family Proclamation. Well, okay, in my research, I have learned, like, I ran across this document that was written by Joseph Smith back in the day, allegedly. I mean, who knows who it was written by. And it struck me because, I mean, I have a basic understanding of what rapture, what you know, I had my uncle Ed, he passed away since he was on my stepdad's side. He's Todd's, I guess, real uncle. I don't know. He's my uncle too. But he used to talk about the 144,000. You know, he went to a non-denominational church. We were all raised Catholic around here, and I mean, so I just have, I don't know. Again, I just know what I wanted to know, right? And he would talk about how the rapture would happen, and then taking the mark of the beast, and you know, either getting your head chopped off, or you know, dying, or taking the mark of the beast, blah 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 blah. And so I mean, that's about my basic understanding of all that, you know, revelation and all that stuff. And so I had a basic understanding of that. When I ran across that document that was written by Joseph Smith, it was called the United Order. I actually ordered it from, there's this he was a patriarch. Shit, I can't oh my gosh. He might be his relative. It was something Anderson. Anyways, I have a video clip of him talking about the 144,000. And I mean, it's just it's kind of funny. I say funny, but let me see. Hold on just one second. Well, I say hold on, but it takes forever. Okay, well, until it catches up. Anyways, I'd ordered a copy of the United Order from this researcher / he was I don't know, a teacher. I don't know. I have to find that out again. I forgot already. But he was up there in the church, okay? And he was writing things for the church and stuff. And it was called the United Order. And when I read over it, you know, I was like, this sounds reminiscent of a New World Order. You know, it has the same kind of concept. This is kind of how my brain works anyways. I'm like, that sounds like this, you know, that's pattern matching. Just how just how Julie and Chad and even the patriarchs, you know, their stories are all the same. They're just different subjects or something, you know? And so you can kind of tell that. And you're like, well, did they rip that off from so-and-so? No, I mean, it is, but it's like a template. Okay, I'll just say a template. Oh, not to mention, speaking of template, it reminded me of Templar. And Tim Ballard, Sean Reyes, Paul Hutchinson, and Eduardo Verestigi, they were knighted back in 2015. So they're definitely a secret society. And I also read what's called the Jesuit Oath. It is crazy. If you ever wonder where you stand in the mind of a Mason and or these elites, okay? I'm going to say the nefarious ones because they're not all nefarious. But anyways, you'll know. You just go listen or go read the Jesuit Oath, and it will remind you exactly where the hell you stand and how they view you and me. Okay? We're pieces of shit. And we're nothing but commerce, you know. That's why we have all the human trafficking, okay? Pawns. We're pawns. We're here to abuse. We're here to be their slaves, okay? Slave Stealers, LLC. Remember that for-profit company of Tim Ballard and Russell Ballard and Tom Harrison, Liberty 89, and all these things. It all starts, I'm telling you, I swear, if I was a better presenter, I'd rock the foundations of the damn everybody around within a vicinity, okay? Because it's crazy. It's so crazy, but it tracks. It's wild. I already forgot what I was doing because I started talking. Anyway, so this family manifesto came out the day that Gordon Bowen married Barbara Timothy. President Prophet Hinckley was supposed to officiate the wedding, you know, in the temple, but he couldn't make it. Why? because he had to go do the proclamation of the family. The proclamation of the family, whatever. I feel like I'm forgetting some words or something. There's a lot of words always, usually. But let me let this play for a little bit because it's going to run. They're going to explain it. They're really good at explaining things, unlike myself. And it's going to run into Jerry Falwell, who they're all working together, guys, is what I'm saying.
Knew that this was coming down the pipe. So July 18th, 1988, the Associated Press, in an article entitled Falwell Family Forum as a Smokescreen for the Morality Movement. This article says, Falwell's manifesto is a 4-page document proclaiming the family the fundamental institution of society and an immutable structure established by our creator. Okay. July 88. August 88, another article talking about the fact that this document was going to be published states family issues on the political stage. They have issued what they call a family manifesto. It starts by proclaiming how the family-oriented people see themselves. The family is the fundamental institution of society. It is defined by relationships of blood, marriage, and permanent legal adoption. The manifesto asserts the diversity, dignity, and complementary value of male and female, rejecting the trendy androgyny. It even proclaims the once common sense, but now radical proposition that in a family with children requiring nurture, the role of the male is the provider and the role of the female is one of nurture. The manifesto comes out loud and clear for marriage as a covenant of divine origin, not merely a status of sex partnership.
Are you sure this wasn't put out by the AP about the family proclamation?
Trust me, I read this and I had to double check it. I asked my kids to make sure I was right. They told me I was, so we're good. It was Smith Clan approved.
7 years prior, but this is exactly what I would expect to see about the family proclamation put out 7 years later in 1995.
Now, mind you,
just hold on. I wasn't able to really build that up just yet, but I want to tie this in while I have it on my mind. How I was just talking about the proclamation of the family. Here, listen to this. This is from Lynn K. Packer. This is op-ed number 23, the satanic ritual abuse allegations. Yeah, it's got the weird thumbnail. It's op-ed number 23. And this is where I learned, part of where I learned. Anyways, let me play.
Barbara, referring to wording in the LDS temple ceremony, and warned that Satan taught that God was without body parts and passions. Then, skipping ahead, Bowen wrote, God the Father has a penis, and God the Mother has a vagina.
In case you didn't know.
During the courtship, Bowen arranged for LDS Apostle M. Russell Ballard to give Barbara a priesthood blessing.
That's where I was going.
Marriage would bring Bowen in line with the LDS position that marriage between man and woman is essential to his eternal plan. At this time, Bowen was consulting with top church leaders, including President Gordon Hinckley, about branding and image matters. Apparently, they didn't like the fact a top advisor was still single, so leaned on Bowen to get married, as reflected in Bowen's letter to President Hinckley, which said, the last time I spoke with you via Elder Ballard, your words were, tell him to get married. Now, Bowen asked President Hinckley to officiate at his upcoming temple marriage to Barbara. The couple was married on September 23, 1995 in the Salt Lake Temple, but it was James Faust, a counselor in the first presidency, who officiated, not church president Gordon Hinckley. Faust, who married Gordon and Barbara, seen here later with the couple's first child, had taken a strong stand against homosexuality. He taught homosexuality is not acquired by birth, it's by choice and is pleasing to the devil. He said the false belief in inborn homosexual orientation denies to repentant souls the opportunity to change. Why didn't President Hinckley marry Gordon and Barbara?
Here it is.
At the last minute, Hinckley decided to announce the long-anticipated proclamation to the world about the importance of heterosexual marriage in opposition to gay marriage.
We have felt to warn and forewarn. In furtherance of this, we of the First Presidency and the Council of the 12 Apostles now issue a proclamation to the church and to the world that marriage between a man and a woman is ordained of God. We further declare that God has commanded that the sacred powers of procreation are to be employed only between man and woman lawfully wedded as husband and wife. We warn that the disintegration of the family will bring upon individuals, communities, and nations the calamities foretold by ancient and modern.
Keyword: nations. Okay, this, y'all, I'm telling you.
These and nations, the calamities foretold by ancient and modern prophets.
And they're talking about the same ones that Lori and Chad be talking about with the founders and founding fathers, and then the ancient. They're talking about nefarious ones. Okay.
The proclamation underpinned.
You think about it. Are there any ancient prophets in Mormonism if it's only 200 years old? I mean, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, the characters that they have, I've never heard of before. They're not in the Bible. I mean, some of them are, but not Alma, not Nephi, all those people, Laban, Lemuel. Okay.
And LDS opposition to gay marriage, including the church's successful 2008 campaign in California supporting Proposition 8, a ban on same-sex marriage.
Yet they all go to Gordon Bowen's house. Okay. It's crazy. Here we go.
President Hinckley, having made the proclamation to the world earlier in the day, made it to Gordon and Barbara's lavish wedding reception, as did Massachusetts millionaire Mitt Romney, among other celebrity guests.
And guess what Barbara Timothy's maiden name is, y'all? Boyce. 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 And her parents own, it's like Stepping Up, but it's like I forget the name of the company. iPackage, or I don't know. Crazy.
Gordon and Barbara had 2 children. Gordon went through several job changes, firings, major advertising successes, as already noted.
And I mean, I'm going to finish right here, but you know, this is where Gordon is going to have Mel Fish and like Melvin Fish. Okay. That's somebody's name. And Kissy Watkins and David Hamblin cast out demons. Okay. Who else cast out? Lori and Chad casting out demons? Yes, evil spirits. Said that Barbara was controlled by evil spirits. Guess who the shrink was that testified in their divorce trial? When Gordon, so they got married right here, but then they get divorced, and that's Gordon and Barbara Timothy Bowen. Guess who was the psychiatrist or whatever that testified in behalf of Barbara? Yes, Tom Harrison. He's in all of these cases, y'all. All of these lives. Tim's, Elder Ballard, Ken Krogh, Chad and Lori, Julie Rowe, Ruby and Jody. Come on. These are fronts. Okay. And they hide behind religion. They hide behind their status or their perceived status. I mean, if Tom Harrison has any kind of degree or even a certification in conflict resolution, I mean, wouldn't he have come out and addressed things, and maybe my family privately even? Would he have reached out, or would he have just kept this facade going? You know? Does he have Weibos or no? Just saying. Okay, so anyways, I just wanted to tell you all that right there. And then let me pull this other one up because this blew my mind too. It's just a mind-blowing day. See what happens when we don't meet. So this is from Exposed, Utah's Hidden Abuse Scandal. Y'all need to go see the new live or whatever that they did, that Justin was on there on We Are the People podcast, or We Are the People Utah. He did it on Bishop Glenn Pace, and it's wonderful. It's already got 10,000 views, and I'm so happy for him. All right, so here is where Elder Maxwell, who's also connected to, guess who? Tom Harrison, Visions of Glory dude, doctor, handing all these cases, guru to no one, he claims. Visions of Glory. He also works at UVU. Okay. He also was trying to convince the leaders of the church that satanic ritual abuse or ritual abuse was a real phenomenon. And we can see that the brethren did not they didn't heed his advice, okay? Because they are still trying to deny it to this very day. Now, so why would Tom Harrison work with sexually abused children? Is interesting. With all the accusations of implanting memories and yada, 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 fake memories, false memories, all that stuff. Interesting, right? David Hamlin too. Anyways, let's listen to this one. Hold on to your Mormon potatoes, your funeral potatoes, okay?
Elder Maxwell shows up quite often in abuse cases inside of the church as well. Tyler, I don't know if we want to take any time to talk about it, but he has a Hamlin case tie-in as well. He recommended or counseled the wife of David Hamlin to marry him, and that's been recorded. And so Elder Maxwell appears to have been sort of the go-to guy, one of the go-to guys inside of the church hierarchy whenever these types of situations would crop up. You'll find his name in many, many abuse cases.
Why?
Yeah, as someone who has dug deep into the Hamlin case, that was a very curious connection there when we heard a disclosure from Roselle Hamlin Stevenson, the parent, the mother of the Hamlin daughters, when she disclosed to them in a secretly recorded tape that the Provo police have disclosed.
I probably have it.
That Neil A. Maxwell was the one who sealed her and David Hamlin in 1976.
So in all your study, you think that this is the best explanation?
Oh, the only
the study of the ritual stuff?
No, is some kind of programming that I may have had as a small child, or when I met David, or when David was small. I mean, I can't explain why I felt like I had a witness that I was supposed to marry him, and then I had such horrible cold feet right before I was going to marry him, but I went and talked it over with the man who was going to marry us, with Neil Maxwell.
You talked it over with Neil Maxwell?
Yeah, he was performed our ceremony. He gave me a blessing in his office. I had
You
cold
never told
feet.
me that.
I had horrible cold feet.
You just said that you told me, and she said something like, it's too late. You talked this over with Neil Maxwell?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wasn't one of the 12 involved in the Bassett case as well? We have at some point need to do a show on the Bassett case, because there's a lot of similar cover-up things there too.
Yep.
All right. Huh? Isn't that wild? That knocked. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like Jody Hildebrandt when the cops were trying to, get her to come out of her house, out of her fortress. She was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was whoa, 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 and straight up. Because I was like, how are all these people connected? Okay. Women can give blessings once they've had their exaltation. Yeah. Tim Ballard talks about it too in one of the expose tapes that were included in the lawsuit by one of the women, where he was like, yeah, Catherine gives blessings, and we know that Tim, we've heard that Tim was given a special blessing by Elder Ballard so that he could go on ops and with these women on the couple's ruse, right? That way the traffickers would not be thrown off in case, like their pheromones had to jive. Okay, because he said the traffickers can smell the pheromones. Tim Ballard, in my opinion, is the most egregious Satanist there is walking this anywhere near me. Okay, anywhere near Chad. I think he's worse than Chad and Lori, in my opinion. So that's my opinion of Timmy. He's not just a fraud, in my opinion, allegedly. Tim Ballard is disgusting. And he was blessed by Tom Harrison and Ken Krogh to become what I would consider, when you mix these two concepts, future president of the United States, wink, wink, and future prophet of the Mormon Church. That is church and state combination, which is one theocratic. I'll just say theocratic. Or NWO. Okay. For those, that's my speculations. That's my tinfoil. If you want to know what I know and what I suspect, it's pretty bad, y'all. I mean, they're psycho. Let me pull that back. It's just my opinion, and y'all are gonna get sick of hearing that. I also don't want to get murked and or sued. I ain't got nothing anyways, but they've already been in my house, so there's that. Psychopaths do this kind of stuff that can go and pretend to rescue children, all under the guise of religion, all under the guise of this charity that's rescuing women and children, and are doing nothing. It makes me want to cry for the first time. Like, it makes me want to fucking cry. And then to make tens of millions of dollars, it is so exploitative that it's bothersome. It really is. So I don't know. Jason just texted me, so I don't know. Might need to cut it off there. I could go on and on and on and on though. I could go on. We haven't even finished what's his face? George of the Jungle. Yeah, now I looked up, he has quite a few. We'll I'll have to, I guess, do another live stream on this, which is good because then I don't have to come up with a theme. It's hard once your family's cases are finished. I'll tell you that right now. I'm like, I don't know. I just want to just talk about it all, but you have to stay competitive in the algorithm here. And I used to have at least over 100 all the time in my chats, but you kind of fall out of favor, and especially when you don't conform. Okay. So I appreciate it. Look at this one here. Okay. Pants on the ground, right? That's George Zen. Can you imagine? He looks like he was pretending to be a janitor or something. No, nothing against janitors. I mean, I made good money working in the refineries as basically a janitor, almost kind of a cleaner. I made this, let's see. Salt Lake City Marathon sees more security. Boston tributes. This was about the hold on. This is one of his mugshots. George Hodgson Zen, 59 at this time, told investigators he didn't mean anything by sending an email to the marketing director of the marathon asking, quote, "I was wondering if you needed anybody to help place bombs near the finish line on Saturday," unquote. I mean, squeeze me? According to court documents. But Salt Lake County District Attorney Sam Gill said, given the level of concern around the country following the bombings at the Boston Marathon that killed 3 people and injured 170 earlier that week, all allegations are taken seriously. Yeah, think? Anyways, quote, "There are just things you cannot engage in," unquote, he said. Zinn was charged Tuesday in 3rd District Court with threat of terrorism and 2nd-degree felony. Zinn is a political gadfly. First time I heard that word. In Utah. He was okay, they did a typo. He has been arrested and charged numerous times over the past 20 years in Utah with misdemeanor crimes, mainly trespassing. He was charged in 3 separate cases alone in April in justice courts for that crime. That's a weird way of saying that. Yeah. Very empty man. Gill acknowledged that Zinn is well known to law enforcement, though he declined Wednesday to specifically talk about Zinn's case or whether Zinn actually had explosive devices or intended to obtain explosive devices. He said the allegations had to be taken seriously and the situation would be handled appropriately. He was out, he was anyways. All right, the Salt Lake City Marathon was held Saturday. Law enforcers reported it was one of the smoothest running events they've had in a long time. And then here's just another clipping of that. And then George Zinn was also on a podcast that has since been deleted. Right. It's called Stokes and Folks. And so, just like with Preparing a People, like they took down the podcast, but you can still see like the description and things like that, transcript even. And I did pull the transcript. It's a little fishy. And so here's just some screenshots of this podcast guests. Okay. People like Jessica Merrill and Fallon. I don't know how to say all that. Fallon Owens, Nina Barnes. I don't know how to say that name. Jerry Gamber, Jade Powell, Greg Gerard, Mac Haddo. Anyways, let's see. And then right here, it said, "See all 33." I was like, seriously? I mean, that's how many podcasts shows they had anyway. So I just thought it was kind of funny. And this is a picture of George and the podcast host, Spencer, I think his name is, of Stokes and Folks. And this is from Twitter or X. He is a messed up person. He did something similar after the Boston bombing marathon terror attack. And this, somebody said, clearly not a Charlie fan. September 16th. These are some mugshots over the years. Utah. They all look different. Okay. Is he a little CIA man? Okay. Yeah, I was building things. Okay. I kind of doodle around here. There's your political gadfly. Okay, George. Yeah, I was making things. Okay. This is what I do when I'm trying to brainstorm. Okay. That's George, apparently, according to AI. This too. This is also George, according to AI. I'm like, George Zinn, the Utah political gadfly. Okay. But this is really George with his pants on the damn ground the day that Charlie Kirk was shot at. And yeah, I'll just say that. Oh, this is another story, but we don't have time for that right now. Man falsely claimed he shot Kirk to distract from real gunman, police say. Who does that? The real gunman. From real gunman, by the way. A lot of people must not be going back and listening and watching and reading like what the articles and the news said compared to just, analyzing all these videos, rooftop, the gun. I mean, there's so many indiscrepancies. There's so many red flags. I need to do one that's called 33 red flags at least. That's just skimming off the top. And I mean, you've already heard them, most of them for sure. Yeah, let me open this real quick. I forgot to embed it. Okay. So this is what comes up. This is what I found on DuckDuckGo, rainstreet.org. George Zinn. Anyways, I don't even know if it says Utah, whatever. I'm just here for the party. But it says 70 years old. This is the last updated September 5th, 2025. And I'm like, okay, he wasn't arrested until that day, allegedly. Okay. So what is the truth? It says Salt Lake City, Utah, age 71, Ogden, Utah, whatever. It says date of birth 1955. Another one says 56. I'm sorry, 56. Davis County Sheriff's Office, January 26, 2012, booking date, Davis County, Utah. Recent charges, it says fine was the type of charge, theft of services. Davis County Justice Court, bail fine, $1,246. This one was criminal trespass, Davis County Justice Court, no bail. Type cash, contempt of court, action by court. Utah County Justice Court, $409 bill. And then nothing. Wait. Okay. Oh, wait. I'm going too fast. Yeah, everybody's considered innocent until proven guilty in court of law. Okay. Let me go to the next one. There's another one. I know. I gotta highlight it too. Go to. Okay. And so here's this one. I don't think it's the same, huh? No. There's more pictures here. So there's like this group of them, and then there's that other one. It's weird. Oh, it's probably gonna try and charge me. Hold on. I just pushed. Oh, okay, I agree. Whatever. Church of the Firstborn here. No. Oh, I didn't even look at all this. This is where they're gonna want me to buy a report. This is what I did in the beginning when Lori and Alex murdered my uncle. I did a whole background check on all kinds of people the very next day. So July 13th, I started pulling reports. But look, I mean, it could be, it could not be. So just know this, these are kind of not set in stone. They're not like proof, but these are the cities that were affiliated with the name George Hodgson Zinn. Salt Lake City, Whitewell, Tennessee, Georgetown, Kentucky, Ogden, Utah, Los Angeles, California, Louisville, Kentucky. That's 2. Cassville. Oh, I don't know. MO. Is it Montana? Don't come. It's been a long time since I've been in high school. It's been a long time. Woodville, Ohio, Kaysville, Utah, Roy, Utah, Bountiful, Utah, and a P.O. box. So, okay, we're not going to go further into that right now. Not while I'm online with y'all. Because, did I not show it to you? Did it not switch? Nope. I don't think it did it? Hold on. I don't know where I'm at. Okay. Share this tab. Okay. D. Okay. 5'8", 71 years old. Okay. He's about the same age as all the other ones, right? I'm talking about like David Hamblin, Tom Harrison, like, the Wreck-It Ralph crew. Okay. So this one says date of birth 1954, gray or partially gray, eyes brown, state ID, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Booked at Salt Lake. And then it says country of birth, Greece, citizen, United States, whatever. That's where he's at and where he was in the jail. Place of birth, Greece, booked out, George Zinn, March, UVU. Okay, so this is March. Look at the dates here. Arresting agency, UVU. I mean, what else could that be? Besides, is that the UVU police? Like the university police? I don't know. Arrest date, March 25th, 2016. What big event was going down there March 25th? Hold on. And it's a Republican. What big? Republican happened in, I'll just put Utah. Oh, let's see. I don't know. This is, I mean, I'm gonna have to do some digging then. But this seems to be his jam, you know? So that's why I'm doing this real quick. Presidential campaign. Okay. And then 2015. All right. Homer. Oh, here we go. And it was March. I already forgot the date. I have to go back. Welcome to my brain, y'all. Sucks. Very small in here. Let's see. March 25th, and he was released on March 30th. So back to Wiki. Wiki, woo. Okay. Oh. Drops off at March 19th. Thousands of anti-Trump protesters, fuck Trump and Donald Trump, go away as they rallied around Trump International Tower. Okay, no, this was in Utah. But March 18th, between 500 and 600 people engaged in a standoff outside of a rally in Salt Lake City, Utah. Police officers formed a human barricade to separate the two groups, who largely remained nonviolent. Toward the end of the rally, protesters tore down a security tent at a Trump rally in Utah and threw rocks at rally attendees as they left. So sweet. 2 people unsuccessfully attempted to breach the entrance of the venue. Something of times to come, huh? Secret Service officers secured the inside of the venue, and roughly 40 police officers in riot gear repelled the protesters from entering the building. No arrests were made. Well, then that's not our guy. I don't know. We'll have to do some digging into that, because I find that curious. March 25th, 2016, UVU could be with them though too. So anyways, booking number Salt Lake County, June 24th, 2012, January 20. He was very active right here. March 11th, about the same time as that other one. 2011, January 20, 2012, June 24, 2012, March 25th, 2016. And then we have this one over here, January 25th, 2012. That matches this one-ish. Jail Health Services, Medical / MH, I don't know. Criminal Trespass, Davis County Justice, 467, 1500 bail or whatever. And that's for January 20th. January 20th, 3,500. January 20th, 409. I don't know. I don't know how to, there's certain, I'm not used to the system. So those of you who are, I'll grab the link and you can decipher it for us, because I'd have to sit here with it for a minute to kind of, familiarize myself with it. Underwear portaling. I can't even say it. Underwear portaling perv. Amen. Good to see you. The date of the meeting. Krisha, what was the date of that meeting? We looked at the itinerary for a meeting in Chen's case where they had the date wrong. Oh, in trial? That was with the what do you call that? The indictment. It was about JJ. It was about the wrong dates were switched or something. So, John Pryor was like, woo, and he was like, feeling like he won something. Yeah. Spencer. Who's Spencer? Hey, Dr. Von Decay. You heard me say Kentucky, huh? I don't know. This guy is a trip, though. But we'll just keep doing some digging on him. I don't quite have, I'm speculating right there with Huggy Bear, how she says that I suspect he's a plant by the CIA too. And I could name some people in our case as well, but some of you follow him. And so I cannot do that. Not CIA, but definitely local government. Local or Utah PD, if you will. And you know how people feel split, like they have to pick, and I don't want people to feel like they have to pick, you know. You see connections too. Well, see, okay, SB Mama, like I'm thinking about going back, and I mean, I know a lot of the Daybell case, right? And I mean, I can sit here and list all the things, okay, but I need to go and find the receipts. I got to match them, and I would make a better presentation with receipts. But I mean, I don't know. This is, you know, my first go around with all this crap, but I'm thinking that maybe Lori and Chad were also, there's like a bunch of these symptoms. Okay. Like here's the movement into this new world regime. We'll just call it this mindset. Okay. Which it looks a lot like that's where we're heading. If you want me to, I mean, to be real, it resembles it. You know, I don't know all the things, but I don't know all the scriptures and I don't know all the laws. So I'm just like, it really feels like it. It has that nuance, you know, and the way these people act, and just the accelerationalism and how they like to make money and exploit their victims and new victims. And just, they love to do it to the nth degree. It's disgusting. And I feel like this, I mean, this is my job. Like, this is my duty. Like, as a human being, you know, it's like, you got to blow the whistle. And but it makes me sound crazy, and I feel crazy, and I don't have the right rhetoric, or I don't have it all pulled together in my thoughts even, or on a presentation. And so it's really frustrating because I don't know how to make it come together. It sucks. But it needs to come together. And for the most part, you guys have been able to, you know, put these things together with me as I go along and work with my broken brain. You know, I apologize, but it's like, it's important. It's also very overwhelming too, because it's a lot of information just packed in my brain, and it needs to come out. And then as I'm learning new things, it just, you know, it's constant. It's always changing and always peeling out. My brain's always peeling out. Either way, it needs to be done. It's like, I feel like Lori telling my Uncle Charles that, you know, the second coming, she was ushering in the second coming of Jesus Christ, was part of, it's like another movement of, or another front of this major movement going on. I don't know how to, I don't know the right vocabulary. But it's like these indicators, you know, whether it's mind control related or whatever, it's the same like movement, and all these people have the like mindset. That's why on Aval you see, you know, they're looking for like-minded people. I think that's why Lori templed down, I guess you could say, and she wanted to give her life to the temple, you know, like her everything. And I mean, maybe in her situation that meant offing your family, cutting ties, sacrificing them so that you can gain entrance. That's what I believe it is. I believe she had to sacrifice, spill their blood, okay, in order to feed her demons, feed their demons, their coven, whatever. I wasn't there. I was not there. But, and I mean, that's looking at it as a whole, you know, law wise, judicial wise. That dog's not going to hunt. You can't say, well, she sacrificed her kids. You know, you have to use homicide, murder. They can't charge for sacrificing, obviously. Maybe they can. I haven't looked at that yet, actually. That's a good question. But I mean, I think these happen way more than we are aware of because of the language used by media, by the judicial system. They don't use spiritual or religious terminology because that's a combination of church and state. You don't want to convict somebody on their beliefs. You can't. Like, you're violating their amendment, their rights, you know? So, but they know the Constitution. They know some of them know the law. at least these ones, okay, the ones that will represent themselves and shit. They know the scripture and they use them and they talk through them. So it could be the brotherhood, like a Freemasonry or something, or secret occult brotherhood. Whatever, some kind of secret society. It could be Mormonism or whatever affiliation they're affiliated with. There's some who, aren't affiliated with churches who still do this kind of thing. And it's like the bloodlines and these elite bloodlines and how they compete with one another. I mean, they will throw shit at, another bloodliner, and it'll throw you off. You're like, what? Why are they fighting? Like, I don't understand the dynamics between how M. Russell Ballard had a relationship with Gordon Bowen, who's friends with Mitt Romney. But then there's Tim Ballard over here. And then, but like Tim and Gordon don't get along. Yeah, it's weird. And Mitt Romney was like, hell no, you ain't getting my seat, And I mean, so they like throw poo at each other. And it's fascinating. That is, to me, that's the fascinating part. I'm just like, what? I don't quite understand it, but it's just like, you can't look away. But that's what this is. I mean, that is the most, it explains so many things to me. I'm just like, oh, okay. They're inverted. Ruby, Jody, I believe families of their own, like with their family of origin. Okay. That's what this is. We just hear it in different ways, but it's the same recipe. There's sexual abuse. They're doing that to split the minds of the children so they're easier to program, easier to control. It's all about control, and power and money and sex, all those things that are important to them. And it's also, and I'm going to say it, and please start working with your cognitive dissonance so that we can start talking about this. It'll still have to be on the down low because, it's legit. So therefore, it's a censored word, but it rhymes with chrome. Okay. Because it is a drug and it is also in this. It's also, I mean, come on now. You've seen people on, the crack epidemic, the opiate epidemic. Come on, like crack is whack. I mean, this is what's happening here. There is a drug that's connected that they get off on that opens up the heavens, like Tim Ballard says. Okay. They like to brag about it. They do it in plain sight. And we just have to learn to adjust the way we hear and or see things. That's my advice. This is how I'm like, oh, it's like, but just be careful, like going, because it's like you have to kind of go in and you're like, nothing looks the same. If you feel like you're up is down, down is up, right is wrong, left is right, up, you don't know your asshole from a hole in the wall straight up. And so you just be careful. That way you don't get lost over there. We'll go get you, we'll throw you a life raft. Come get us too. But them rabbit holes are deep and I mean, they're dark, but shine light. And it's better if we work as a community. Tim Ballard's drug of choice, in my opinion, would be ADRENOCHOROME or adrenal chrome. Okay. Can't say those two things together. Yes, they do show you in so many shows. I never did like that movie, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And now I'm like, oh, I never really watched it. And I was just like, it looks stupid. Now I get it. I mean, that's one major one, and they talk, I've been gathering clips of Tim talking about it, which actually when I first heard Tim Ballard talk about Tom Harrison using his research and how he was referring to Tom Harrison as a brain specialist, I was like, what? I was just so happy to have the fact that Tim Ballard was saying Tom Harrison's name using his research in a presentation, so to me, that was like connection. They're affiliated. Okay. This is before all the things came out, all the lawsuit and all that stuff. And so I was just kind of doing what I do. And then whenever I listen to it, and I played it so many times, but it catches you and you're like, oh, So Tim Ballard is also on that stage right after he tells the people that he's talking about oxytocin. I don't know all the things. Anyways, hormones that your brain releases whenever you're serving, whenever you're giving. Okay. He says, whenever you're giving and serving, which that's not what his definition of serving and my definition of serving are different. Just like my definition of second coming and Lori's definition and Tim Ballard's definition of second coming are different. So they do redefine things, and that comes with Mormonism too. It's all a trap. all of it. It's like further light and knowledge. That was the dog whistle or whatever code phrase that was being used by Jason Mal for sure with Lori. She went with her friend Nicole Earl, who did castings on my family, who was friends with my uncle Charles and Lori for 10 years. Turns out, Nicole Earl, she went with Lori. I believe she introduced Lori to Jason Mal. Jason Mal, in the temple, because you've seen any body cam footage from the temple besides what New Name Noah came out with? Okay. That's why. There's Lori and friends and company, or Coven Company. They conspired to do evil shit, to do secret combinations in the temple, while in the temple. If everybody does that, shame on you. But I don't think so. I don't think everybody does that. Just saying, that's what they did. And they're okay with it. Did they get excommunicated? We won't know. The church only, lets go of the high profile ones. They can only change their name so many times. It's a victory for damn Satan. Don't you know? I wonder if their Satan is actually Jesus. It's a good question, since Jesus is Satan, brother. Anyways. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I have to look at the Mandela effect too. Hector Sosa talked about the Mandela effect. And I'm like, I remember researching again. There's been so many things to have to research. I'm just like, I can't keep up, That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't like set out to, when I first heard about Charlie Kirk, I was just like, I rolled my eyes. I was just like, oh, what the fuck ever. What the fuck ever. Okay, whatever. And then I was like, well, I mean, not trying to be, I told Jason, I was like, I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything. I just, whatever, in whateverville. I don't even know what to make of that right now, because they're always full of shenanigans and just bullshit and chaos. And they create it so that they can have, it's called shock doctrine too. Shock, SHOCK doctrine. And yeah, I remember reading her, this lady, I forget her title, but she talked about, she's from Canada. She talked about shock doctrine, where, how Tim Ballard uses derogatory words, especially if he's supposed to be like victim sensitive, since he's quote unquote rescuing women and children and, victims from the most heinous, what did he say? The most, he said it so many times. A criminal enterprise, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. But it's the most heinous, right? And shit, I forgot my train of thought. Damn it. Shock doctrine. It's the largest criminal enterprise. I forget. But he always uses our word. He uses very vulgar terminology. He is not being sensitive to his imaginary victims, his imaginary rescues. Okay, in my opinion, allegedly, he's very shocking because people stop thinking when they hear cannibalism. You're like, what? People stop thinking when you say rape, murder. That's why I don't want to dilute it. I don't want to dilute what actually happened to my fucking family. Like, go fuck your face, you know? Like, I don't give a shit. I'm not, that is a heavy word, and it's meant to be heavy. If not, look at what we have going on in the world today. Okay? Merc and Unalive. What the fuck are we doing as a society? I'm like, that's another thing that has stunted my speech, you know, just to get all this shit out of my brain. It would be so much easier than to have to be so damn politically correct and polished, you know. It's just like, what the fuck? It's very aggravating, especially whenever they say, oh, what, like if you asked me what Chad and Lori were in prison for, what would I say? I mean, unalivings. This is ridiculous now. I mean, they have us to where we are changing our vocabulary. We are being graded for it. We are being punished for it if we're not conforming. Do you see what I'm saying? I should be able to say Adrena fucking Chrome. I should be able to say it. I should be able to say human sacrifice, blood atonement. I should be able to say rape, murder. These things are heinous, okay? I should be able to say them. Y'all, they do them. Why can't I say what they are doing? It's because they cannot handle the fucking truth or the criticism, as they say, oh my God. They're the ones that go and delete their comments and shit, or shut their account down every other day. Gypsy Rose. I mean, I'm just saying, like, these are the ones that get butthurt because they cannot see themselves for the monsters that they are. And that's a problem. Okay. I just, anyways, yeah, I'm definitely not monetizing this one today. So fuck it. Okay. 1984 on the Daybells. So what is, like, can you text me later? Because I caught that and I knew, like, George Orwell, 1984, there's some kind of signal. There's some kind of, he's still playing Satanism from prison is my take on it. He's still sending out, like my mom said too, the people who are accustomed to talking Chad's language, Satanist language, these people in their inverted ass language, they are understanding what they are seeing. When Lori could not put down the damn book, Visions of Glory, or Chad Daybell's books, or they were just different Satanists rhetoric and like a blueprint, like Lori and Chad said, that you follow in order to get to the new world order, to be able to get into it, to be able to go 2 by 2, you know, Wi-Fi password, no, too many kids, anti-Lamanite was the network name, you know, come on now. And they think they are the Jews. So there's that. I don't really understand all that stuff yet. Like, I still don't understand what Israel even means. Yeah, I'm just like, what? I'm not very educated. Okay, we'll just say I'm not in the world sense for sure, but I do have common sense. So I've always wondered too, like, how come if I say human sacrifice or satanic ritual abuse, or because they labeled it that, or ritualistic abuse, or just child abuse, you know, that's what it is. It's just really badass, horrendous, extreme ass, psychopathic child abuse. Okay, where they're trying to train their kids, program their kids. That's what this is. Remember how Melanie Boudreaux left her dad with her mom and went to stay at the Cox's house, and then whenever she went back, she had cut her hair off. She wore a baseball cap. She was saying for everybody to call her AJ and Bobby. And she was trying, like, what do you think happened? Do you think her brain got split, so to speak, by someone? I think that's what happened to Stacy too. And I think that's what happened to Lori. And if Adam don't watch it in summer, I can see that already in there too. So whatever. It sucks. I don't hate the people. I don't hate anybody, but it's very frustrating when they can't do any self-reflection. It's just, oh my God, poor me. It's like a persecution complex. And it's like a narcissistic, what did Megan call it? Injury or whatever. That somebody's gonna have to bust the bubbles, y'all, or we're gonna lose them, period. To the dark side. To the dark side. And I mean, I'm being serious. It's really sad. Yeah, very too. I got a cough. Oh my God. I thought I was finished. I was not. Okay. Oh God. Janice. I mean, it's like, okay. High pressure. And he's in that elite, remember that, the lower 95%, and it explains it all. I bet, I'm sure he's a Freemason. If I had to guess, Barry, Rotary, something in there, in these echelons. I mean, may not be able to pay his mortgage, but I'm sure he paid his dues and his tithing, allegedly, in my opinion. Think about it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Just call me Kim. Just call me Kim. It is sad, though, huh? I think about it, too. It didn't have to be this way, And and this is how strong I feel about at least the people I research and all the way to the top, all their connections to the top. I don't know about all the other world leaders and stuff, but if they were to build a wall, let's just say a wall, and let's pretend this wall actually did whatever they intended it for it to do. And let's say all the elites were on one side of that wall, and then we were over here still in our homeland, right? I think that crime would go down 90%. I do. I really do. I might be a little high on that, but I think it wouldn't be too much lower. I believe there's a lot of crime created by, and these serial killers and things like that. A lot of them are covered up occult crimes. They really are. Do with that what you will. Doesn't matter. It happens still. Like, how are we going to, like, I don't believe that guy, Tyler, I don't believe he's like another Richard Allen. And that means the monsters are still out there. At least in Liberty and and can't think of the name. Delphi. Yeah. Scapegoats. Alex. I'm the fall guy. And I mean, another thing. I remember hearing Heidi Love with Unfiltered Rise. I'm gonna have her on. I need to text her back so I can schedule her. She was, she's been the only other person that I know that speaks, she talks a lot of, like, there are so many connections that I'm just like, holy shit, this is wild. I'm always excited, and my notebooks fill up really fast whenever I catch her show, or some of these people that I follow or run across sometimes. But she brings up the second anointing. And she was talking about, she was also talking about like Brigham Young and how they were doing the Mountain Meadows Massacre and all that horrendous mass sacrifice. Like, come on, y'all. It just reminded me of something else. Damn it. I hate this. So she was saying something about how they got other people and under him or whatever. I don't remember all the details, obviously, but got other people to commit the murders for them so they wouldn't lose their exaltation. And I was like, Alex, there you go. It's not so they wouldn't get their hands dirty. It's so they wouldn't lose their exaltation. Chad and Lori is who I'm talking about. I mean, duh, right? If that's the case. Again, I wasn't there. You weren't there. We weren't there. So that's between those psychopaths. But they, also they were victims. Chad and Lori. If this is what I suspect it is, which is intergenerational occult / or whatever you want to call it, ritualistic abuse to split the minds of their children so that they can control and program them like elites do, allegedly. I don't know. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah. If anybody ever has a personal story or whatever, you're more than welcome. Please contact me. I don't collaborate. I'm just so, and I've also had to like kind of check my surroundings. Like who can I trust? Who can I not trust? It's steadily, it's fluid. Like I said, it's always changing. And I'm just like, sometimes it's been crazy, but I don't know. It needs to be out. If you have a story to share or whatever, your theories. Hey, I'm your huckleberry. Okay. This is the best, most loving, caring, like community ever. Yeah. I remember when KJ and Mr. Wayne came down, and I remember KJ saying, and it kind of caught me off guard, she was like, hey, you're going to have to show up for your community though. Every week, show up for your community. And I was like, my community? Like that blew my mind. I hadn't even gotten there, like I was like, I never looked at this as my community. I looked at this as Tylee, JJ, Charles, Tammy, and Joe. They're doing, like this is their community. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. She grounded me in a good way. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't set out to create community. I just was like trying to humanize them and wanted to talk, because this shit's heavy. Yeah. And so she got me to realize that, yeah, brought together because of them, but we choose to be here. We choose one another, and I have mad respect for each and every one of you. Thank you. And just, after we get off here, go to the mirror and just give yourself a big hug. Okay. All right. Anyway, at least a pat on the back. Okay. Sometimes you have to be loving to yourself. Okay. No, thank you, C. Cheadle. Come pick me up. No, it didn't go away. They sharpened that shit. And you know how shitty that is? It's as shitty as what Lori and Chad did to their unsuspecting victims. They were ready to go to war. Nobody had a damn clue, and picked on people that were either sleeping, not expecting to be ambushed, or their children who relied on them for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's disgusting. And that's exactly what MK Ultra resembles to me. It has any good. I haven't, now that I think about it, no, I've not heard anything good come from it. Maybe that's another aspect to kind of, try and see if there's anything good that comes from it besides bringing us together, traumatized as all get out. We have each other. Oh, it's crazy. And I mean, that's so deceptive and cheating and just cruel. But again, look, my mind, if y'all could see it in my brain, it just immediately went back to that video with Ken Krogh and Tim Ballard, with Elder Ballard allegedly saying that if they didn't hurry up and start Operation Underground Railroad or their, philanthropic or philanthropic, whatever the hell, however you say that, business ventures, then in 10 years they were gonna be slaves. Time has been a ticking, right? And so that, my friends, I mean, really, if you think about it though, if let's say this quote unquote second coming that they say is second coming is an NWO, at least we can learn everything we can. That's weapon. Knowledge is power in these streets. Definitely not how I wanted to learn, but it's like, what better lesson could come from the death of my family members? I had spiritual experiences. And like that dream I had with Uncle Charles, and he said, and I mean, I don't talk like this. I don't speak these kind of words, but he said, our deaths will uncover something far more dark and far more sinister. And I remember waking up and thinking, what the fuck could be darker than zombies? Okay. Like, I was just like, I was still reeling over that. Well, turns out that all these other evil effers, that's what could be far more dark and far more sinister, for sure. And I think that I think that tracks for sure. Hold on, I'm looking for something real quick. And just got to know again, I didn't like wage war with these people, but they wage war with you and you don't even know it. They're like plotting your death and shit, how to spend your life insurance policy. Speaking of, does Charlie Kirk's wife have an insurance policy? Anybody know? Yeah, dawned on me. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And it looked like her rings also said GMO. That's what I also saw. Looking for the slave one. Let me pull it up. Okay, we'll leave out on this. We'll pick back up, where we left off, which is in a damn circle. They're circle jerks, and we have to, because they're like, make us dizzy. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, I'm pushing the wrong button. Still. I'm tired, I guess. All right, so this was that clip from the lawsuit, and then I just was able to corroborate it with Chris had sent me this video of the whiteboard meeting that happened in 2016 with these names on it. Okay. Says up there, no, want to know. It has the Clinton Foundation on there. It has, guess what, Miss Louisiana, Allie Landry. She was Miss Louisiana. I forget if she went, Miss America, or I don't know. I don't remember yesterday. I know my cousin did too. My cousin was Miss Louisiana as well. And she went to a Trump damn pageant in 2016 and 2018. Let me look that up real quick. She's gorgeous. Bethany Trahan. Miss America pageant. Yep, here she is. We'll look at her real quick. There must be a golf again.
Goddamn X Games. That's because we were in lifeguard pursuit.
What the hell is this? I ain't trying to get tagged. Oh, yeah, no. Let's not do this one. I ain't trying to get got. Little coon ass.
Growing up, Bethany wasn't afraid to do anything. Girly or tomboyish, she could go from either. The gamut ran wide.
I'm going to get my pilot's license someday, just like my dad.
My crazy cousin Eric.
Because I wanted to gain self-confidence and be okay with who I was as a person. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and I watched Miss USA Baton Rouge, and I saw how those women carried themselves, and I saw how confident they were, and I knew that's something that I needed to have. I knew I wanted to be confident, and competing in pageants gave me that confidence that I've always dreamed of having.
Miss USA. And so my cousin Eric met Trump. I'm just saying, y'all, it's like way too damn close. Way close. So anyways, yeah, that's my cousin Bethany. Well, I used to babysit her, y'all. That's crazy. That's wild. Come on. Scroll. Oh my gosh. Let me reset it. I know she didn't win Miss USA. My local TV station. My Uncle Earl that died in a plane crash, this is his granddaughter, you know. Anyways, all right, so that's my cousin Bethany, and then let me go to the chattel or the cattle, whatever the hell we're going to be called, the slaves. No Britney Spears here. We're not a slave for you. All right, let me push play. Listen to this crazy shit. This is what I believe is being implied here. And let me push play.
So Ken's background is he built a multi-billion-dollar company
on this stuff,
inside sales, like huge off the, and so that's why. And I met him through Elder Ballard because Elder Ballard and the churches used him to use the same kind of tools and technologies for the missionary program and everything like that. And Elder Ballard actually looked him in the eye, and Elder Ballard can't even affirm this right now. But he said Tim will be 10 years ago. He said Tim will be a household name.
Yes.
And I was just like, what are you saying? Like no one knew who I was at the time.
And he said, if we don't do it in 10 years, we'll all be slaves.
That's right.
Yeah.
He said he took to Ken and he said, Ken, you need to guide that process to when it happens.
You know what happened the next 2 nights? I had dreams all night long about what.
It's not revelations when you have somebody that's an elite telling you what the hell to do so that you can make it into that new world system. Okay. So this is where it's some bullshit.
And he took to Ken and he said, Ken, you need to guide that process to when it happens.
You know what happened the next 2 nights? I had dreams all night long about what to do. And I even saw Tony Robbins.
Oh.
And we went up there to that whiteboard and we made a 2-story high whiteboard and we circled all the best places.
Thanks
and we
to
circled
Chris.
the biggest name of all would be Tony Robbins.
This is before we knew who.
Boom, got it. He didn't circle it though, by the way.
And the Lord had our back. I didn't do anything about that other than highlight what he showed.
Well, I remember Elder Ballard. I said, well, he said, okay, well, Tony, it is.
Yes.
Okay, well, how do we get to him?
Yes.
And Elder Ballard said, don't let the Lord take care of that.
And he did.
Within 6 months, Tony.
Did Elder Ballard mean like when he said, let the Lord, he said, don't let the Lord take care of that. Was he implying himself? Because, that's probably how
about that other than highlight what he showed.
Well, I remember Elder Ballard. I said, well, he said, okay, well, Tony, it is.
Yes.
Okay, well, how do we get to him?
Yes.
And Elder Ballard said, don't let the Lord take care of that.
And he did.
Within 6 months, Tony Robbins calls me.
Shut up. Oh my God. Your dream turned into a reality. You manifested that shit.
Bizarre.
Already firmly committed, and that's where we're going, you guys. So,
Young Single Adult Project, all that stuff. But I'll hit on that later. But so
that's him talking some
we
2016 whiteboard.
Traditional model, and the traditional model is you've got PR, which rolls to marketing, which rolls
to the couple's ruse,
which rolls to customer support.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the life of a lead. Well, here this becomes social media, and now
some bullshit.
This is digital media. This is split between two things: virtual media, and then.
Oh, we'll leave on a positive note. I forgot.
I was in the car park.
What the hell?
In the grounds of the
what synagogue.
The
that?
when it.
Oh. Okay. My bad. Hold on. I forgot. We'll leave on this one. This one made me feel so good. I've never seen it, but I ran across it on Substack last night, and I was like, "Wow!" I got chills from a town meeting. As soon as I can find it, hold on. Looking. Oh, hold on. Oh, I never did sign into that. Okay, hold on. Fritzing out here. Here, you can watch this with me. Oh, this is. I'll just trim the song. Listen to this one. This is so good.
I realized the mistake with everything I was just saying. I can't give the total amount of super chats to your organization because people could just do that on their own. They could literally just go to your organization and make the donation. I'm gonna double it.
Watch the money roll in. Oh, as soon as it stops buffering. I forget who made this.
Whatever you guys do in super chats by the end of the show, I'm gonna give. I'm gonna match it.
Oh, super chats are flying in.
Right.
Super
well,
chat.
I was just thinking. I was like, why should I ask people to give me money for my show and then just give it to you when they could do that themselves? I'll match it one for one.
Thank you so much. Man.
No, easy for me to do.
Look at look at these, man. People, those are the ambassadors of freedom right there, brother.
Oh shit, ambassadors.
I just realized the mistake with everything I was just. People to give me money for my show and then just give it to you when they could do that themselves. I'll match it one for one.
Thank you so much.
No, easy for me to do.
Look at look at these, man. People, those are the ambassadors of freedom right there, brother.
I'm gonna match it 100%.
That's a movement. You think they're gonna stop this movement? Who's gonna stop this movement, brother? Nobody.
He's right.
I want to say we got to go with members only, and I want to say one final thing before we do the outros and give people an opportunity to send in those super chats. I will match them. The Timoteo scene in that film. It made me feel something indescribable. I call it divine intervention, but it's indescribable.
Mm-hmm. Indescribable. He even did the sign of the cross, by the way. Thinking. Too many choices. I got this from Tim Ballard's his Facebook page. A millstone. Mm-hmm. I like to use their artwork. Let's see. It might be this one. This is the Jesuit oath. And this one. Let's see. There's Robert Redford tie in there too. Should be around here. Oh, this is also the George thing. Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot about this. Okay. Oh, it takes it a while. I forgot. See how it's thinking right here? When I screen recorded it, it was like that. And they put jokes and folks. It's Stokes and folks. I don't know. Whatever. Come on. This is part of the transcript that George Zinn read, but my AI thing's going to read
George
it.
Zinn was indeed a guest on episode number 116. You are also correct that the original episode has been removed from most platforms. However, a transcript of the interview was preserved and has been circulated online. Please be aware that the content contains eccentric viewpoints and unfounded claims. Here is the retrieve.
Yeah, it was Temple. Yelling? I don't know. I didn't hear anything. Oh, buffering, man. Probably need to clean my computer.
Received transcript of George Zinn's appearance on the Jokes and Folks podcast. Adam Bartholomew. All right, welcome back to Jokes and Folks. I'm your host, Adam Bartholomew, and I have a very special guest in the studio tonight. He's a man you may have seen around town, a man with a lot on his mind. Welcome to the show, George Zinn. George Zinn, glad to be here, Adam. It's a pleasure. Adam Bartholomew. Now, George, people see you at the protests, at the political rallies, you're always holding a sign, always got something to say. What is it that drives you? What's the message you're trying to get out there? George Zinn. The message is that everything is a lie. Everything you see, everything you're told, it's a fabrication. We are living in a meticulously constructed reality, a prison for the mind, and the bars are made of deception. Adam Bartholomew. Okay, that's a heavy start. A prison for the mind. Who are the wardens of this prison? George Zinn. It's not a simple answer. It's a cabal. A network. You have the CIA, of course, the architects of control. They learned their techniques from the masters, the Nazi paperclip scientists.
Oh, buffering. The yelling, it was the Money song, to Tim Ballard appearing on another podcaster show, and the money was just pouring in the super chats. Come on, thing.
Who came over after the war. They perfected the art of psychological manipulation, but they are just one arm of the octopus. Adam Bartholomew. So the CIA is the warden. Who else is on this list? George Zinn, the Mormons. The LDS Church. People think they're just nice folks in white shirts. That is the greatest deception of all. They are the database managers of this prison. Think about it. Genealogy. They have the largest collection of human lineage on the planet. Why? It's not to baptize the dead, Adam. It's to map the bloodlines, to track the flow of psychic energy and genetic predispositions. They are data mining humanity for their off-world masters. Adam Bartholomew, off-world masters? Now you're going to have to explain that one to me, George. George Zinn. Where do you think Joseph Smith got his golden...
Oh my God. I hate that. Sorry. Come on.
plates? Not from an angel in the woods. That was a contact event. He was given technology, a charter to create a hybrid religion corporation that would act as a control group for a global experiment. They are the beta testers for the New World Order's social credit system. The hive mind, they call it becoming one with God. I call it assimilation into the Borg. Adam Bartholomew. So you're saying the Mormon Church is an alien-run data mining operation? George Zinn, precisely. And their temple rituals? Those aren't holy sacraments. They are psychic imprinting sessions.
That
the
freaked me out.
handshakes, the new names, the oaths. It's a way of overriding your own spiritual sovereignty and pledging allegiance to an alien agenda. They brand your soul. My ex-wife, she was one of them. I saw it. I saw the light go out of her eyes in that temple.
Yep.
She became a drone, a beautiful, smiling drone. Adam Bartholomew. That's a very serious accusation, George. George Zinn. It's the truth. And it all connects. The CIA uses them. They use the returned missionaries, with their language skills and their clean-cut looks, for intelligence gathering. It's the perfect cover. Who would suspect the kid on the bicycle of being an agent of the deep state cabal? It's genius. Diabolical genius. Adam Bartholomew. So what is the endgame here? The CIA, the Mormons, the off-world masters. What do they want? George Zinn, total control. Not just of your body, but of your soul. They want to sever our connection to the divine source, to the true reality, and insert themselves as the new gods. It's an ancient war, Adam. A war for consciousness itself. And people are sleeping through it. They're worried about gas prices and who's winning on TV, while the battle for their eternal souls is happening right under their noses. Adam Bartholomew. And you feel it's your job to wake them up? George Zinn. Someone has to be the alarm clock. Even if they hit the snooze button. Even if they throw the clock against the wall. I have to make the noise. I have to stand there with my sign and be a glitch in their matrix, a crack in the facade. I have to let people know the prison is real, but that the door is unlocked. You just have to have the courage to walk out. That's my message. Adam Bartholomew, George Zinn. It's been an experience. Thank you for coming on the show. George Zinn. The truth is an experience. Thank you for having me.
Okay, found it. All right, we're ending on this. Bye, guys. Love you. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins. You're proof of this. And let's play this. This is good.
Check. Hi. I'm Jeff. I'm a constituent. I'm from Pine Beach.
Yes. Substack.
In March, you told us that you practically broke your arm patting yourself on the back for not voting in January to just eliminate the ACA. You told us that that was because you didn't think that healthcare could be solved in a couple of months. It's too complicated. It took you 3 weeks. 3 weeks to go from it's too complicated and it can't be done quickly to I've got a huge pile of excrement here that is a horrible mess of a bill that 17% of the population wanted, that the CBO said was going to kick 24 million people off of health insurance. 3 weeks, Congressman. 3 weeks, Tommy boy. That's all it took for you to go from I'm not going to do it that quickly to I've got a yes vote in my pocket and I'm going to use it. They took that vote off the bill because they knew that it wasn't going to pass. I thought, thank God. Thank God, we're not going to have to do that. It took a couple of days, and a couple of more days, and then suddenly we got the MacArthur Amendment. Congratulations. You're in history now. You're in the national spotlight. And that's one thing I want to talk about, the national spotlight. You keep talking about all the constituents that you have to adhere to. And over in this county, they believe one thing, and over in this county, they believe another thing. And you're trying to thread that needle. Well, you haven't threaded it at all. Everyone that is going to be losing from this, you have not addressed. You have not addressed it properly. You have not addressed it fully. You have ignored us. I have called your office incessantly, and I get people who don't know what's going on. I don't get any return phone calls. If I ever fax or email, I get a form letter that informs me about what I contacted you about and why you can't do anything about it because it's still in committee. You look forward to taking my opinions into consideration. You have not taken my opinions into consideration. Too complicated. It's not going to get done in months. 3 weeks. I don't understand.
What's your question?
Oh, we haven't even begun. I'm not done with you yet. I got the mic and I'm not going anywhere. Turn off the power. I got a very loud voice. This ain't over yet. My wife was diagnosed with cancer when she was 40 years old. She beat it, but every day, she lives with it. She thinks about it. Every pain, every new something going on somewhere, is it coming back? Is this cancer? Do I have it again? Is it going to kill me this time? Is it going to take me away from my children? Speaking of which, my children both have pre-existing conditions from birth. One cardiac, one thyroid. You have been the single greatest threat to my family in the entire world. You are the reason I stay up at night. You are the reason that I can't sleep. What happens if I lose my job? I'm very fortunate, sir. I have a really good job and I have really good health insurance and we can all have peace of mind. But now my wife, who every day is wondering if she's going to get cancer, is it happening now? Well, it didn't happen now, but what about now? Now also has to contend with, what if my husband loses his job? If I lose my job, we can't afford COBRA. We can't afford to get private insurance. We get it from my employer. If I lose it, it's gone. If I lose my job on a Monday, if I'm lucky enough to find a job on a Tuesday, which never happens, they will not have insurance ready for me. I will not be eligible for 3 to 6 months. If I lapse my coverage within 63 days, suddenly I'm in a high-risk pool. My pre-existing conditions, which I don't give a shit about, come after me. Come after me, I don't care. But you came after my wife. You came after my kids. I have sympathy for your mother. I have sympathy for your daughter. But you did not learn the lessons they were trying to teach you. Because this is what you did to us. In this district, you do not listen. But your actions affect the entire country. There is no one in this country that your actions are not going to affect. So everyone's voice is important. And when 17% of the population said, don't do it, you did it. This man is correct when he said that you brought it back from death. Ryan said it's dead. Trump said it's dead. And you said, nope, I got a better idea. Last time in Waretown, you told us that you went to Congress to fix problems, that you didn't want to decorate a chair, that you didn't want to choose between being an obstructionist and I want to get something done. That was the keenness of your intellect, that you only had 2 choices in front of you. Don't be an obstructionist or make something better. Well, there was a horrible bill available to you from a horrible group of people who believe that we don't deserve health insurance. They have said it. on TV, on camera. Well, then you're not paying attention. And that's your responsibility. They said it. They said that if we get sick, it's our fault. These are the people that are in your party that you're working with. These are the people that came up with a plan that's going to kill millions of people. The CBO scored it. 24 million people off of health insurance. And they call that choice. Like we're choosing not to have health insurance if we can't afford it. That is insulting. That is detrimental to the mental health of us as a nation. But all of it totally misses the point. Healthcare is not a good. You do not buy health insurance the same way you buy a car, the same way you buy a house. Those are already complicated things to do. You got to know about cars, you got to know about houses, at least a little bit, but there are reasonable ways to be educated on those things and make reasonable choices. I work in healthcare, sir. It is complicated. The only one that doesn't believe that it's complicated is an orange-haired buffoon sitting in the White House. And you're working with him to take something that he doesn't understand, that he won't be responsible for, because he's going to be fine. You're working with him, you're working with Ryan, you're working with people that don't care about us. If you want to make something better, you could have made the ACA better directly. You could have made sure that all the funding that you're saying that we need right now, just put it in there. Introduce a bill. Show me what you're made of. Show me that you know what's going on, that you can actually do something instead of siding with people that clearly, by the virtue of their own words, do not care. They want their money back. That's their version of compassion.
You were bipartisan, you would have been working with the Democrats. Exactly.
But the point is that healthcare is not like buying anything else. You cannot expect people to be good consumers of healthcare. Another wonderful talking point. Thank God for the GOP for giving us that one. We need to be better consumers of healthcare. You're supposed to be vetting doctors and vetting hospitals and knowing what an MRI costs and knowing what a CT scan costs. And if I need a cardiac catheterization, how much does that cost? And does it cost different if I have this doctor or this doctor? It's completely immoral. And this is the point, Congressman. This is the point. Because health insurance as a for-profit business is immoral. When I am drowning and you insist that I pay before you will save me, that is immoral, sir. Completely. You have no legs to stand on. You want to make money off of me. If you're in insurance, you want money off of me. And the reason that it's not going to go to single payer is not because you don't believe it. It's because you know that the insurance companies have a powerful lobby and they would decimate you. Donald Trump has woken us up. 30, 40 years, and we have been slowly going to sleep. Just watch your reality TV. It's American Idol on at 8 o'clock. That's what's important. That's what they want. No more. You came from my wife. I will not forgive. I will not forget. I don't want to hear your response. I'm not interested. I've heard it already. I heard it in Waretown. I've been watching you on TV, and I read the bill that you sponsored. I read the one that you were willing to say yes to. I know exactly what's going on, Congressman. I'm not an idiot. I see it. Everyone here knows what's going on. Everyone in the country knows what's going on. You owe it to everyone. Your fundamental principle is flawed. I don't have any choice with an insurance company. I have no value to an insurance company. I can't do anything to their CEO. I can't do anything to their employees. Nothing. I can argue till I'm blue in the face. But a single payer run by the government, oh yeah, it's got problems, but it's also got elections, and you're going to find that out in 2018. You're done, Tommy boy. That's it. That's it. Go ahead, have your conversation. But I'll tell you another thing. Not you, not you, not you, not you. No one in this room can tell me with 100% certainty that the person in the White House works for us and doesn't have interest in Russia that he isn't answering to. And you, sir, while he's drumming up business to take us into war in North Korea, are using their talking points. The first words you said to us in Waretown, I'm not Donald Trump. Well, I got an orange wig. You may as well put it on. You don't want to decorate a chair? There's one right there. Go do less damage. Sit on down. You're done.
Hoorah, right?
No. Get the mic. Get the mic. No, get the mic.
Get the mic.
No, get the mic.
I don't want to
Get
hear
the mic.
any
This is
more.
not going to turn into a free for all.
Bye, y'all. Love always
No, I'll
wins.
give you a chance when I call you.
Thank you.